Friends with differences.
Friends with differences.
Friends with differences.
Friends with differences.
All right, hello friends. Welcome back to the Friends with Differences podcast. Very special episode coming on. I'm the only one doing the intro, as this is coming out a little late. This episode we have on Liam and I's fathers. It's a very special episode. I'm very grateful to have them on. I hope it comes across how appreciative and inspiring I find these two men. And I did have to make some cuts, and so there is some editing, which I will hopefully not make a habit of, as it does delay the release of this. But yeah, we talk about all sorts of things. I really enjoyed having them on, and we recorded for about 5.5 hours. So I did cut it right at about the halfway of drinking mark. So who knows? Maybe the second half will come out. Maybe we'll have them on again. I'm not sure, but it was a very fun time, and thank you again for them for coming on. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoy. Cheers.
Friends with differences.
Friends with differences. Friends with differences.
All right, cheers
Ready?
to the Friends with Differences podcast.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
Thank you very much.
Hot start.
Woo! Hot start. All right. Our special guest, our father.
Woo!
Thank you for coming on the Friends with Differences podcast.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you very much.
Nothing like starting off with a shot. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Good
tradition.
start. Good start.
Gets the guests talking.
Yeah.
We promote good habits for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say we would not. The podcast wouldn't be around without you guys. I'm pretty sure that's safe to say.
That's how it works, I think. Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, you go a little high class on the bourbon this time, little Angel's Envy.
Yeah.
We've done Elijah Craig.
Elijah Craig.
That was
Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark was tough. Angel's Envy and Elijah Craig.
And then Black Label, I believe, was the one before that.
Oh.
So, you know, this
Helps
isn't
when
our
there's
first
a liquor
podcast.
store next door.
Yeah, that does. Right next to the daycare.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, last podcast, we did a liquor store run right before we recorded, and then...
No, afterwards too. Yeah.
And afterwards,
'Cause
right after we were done, we were
I
like,
had to get a bottle of wine for Maya. Or
yeah.
was that the time before? I don't remember. They
Well, we
both.
definitely
excuse
went
to go
on
to
a
the
run.
Yeah,
store,
to
get
the
some
liquor store.
for somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah, well, she wanted a bottle after work.
Yeah.
helped it
Yeah.
out.
Thank you to my dad for the Angel's Envy. He was the one with the selection.
That'd be
Oh.
a nice treat for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that was the big selection at my oldest daughter's wedding. We used Angel's Envy as our... Because I don't drink bourbon. So I got a good friend, Jay Dahl, who's a big bourbon fan.
Yeah.
So he recommended it.
Speaking of Jay, Sam's father, get him on the podcast.
Yeah, we should have invited Jay and his dad too.
Jay and
Yeah,
Sam.
huge
Jay and
Grateful
Sam.
Dead fan. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
That'd be fun.
Yeah. He's going to like 5 concerts, I think, this year.
Wow.
No
He
kidding.
used to be a roadie with
Really?
Grateful Dead, yeah.
I don't know if he's a roadie.
Travel
but
with
did
him.
go to a lot of their concerts.
And he would
Everywhere.
hitchhike. He would hitchhike there.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty
That
sick.
was-
That's a lifestyle.
That is a lifestyle.
He's like, I would not recommend this to anybody.
So was that like when he was?
Pre-marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
I can't see that.
Yeah, pre-marriage.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, he had a long mullet and everything. It was. He's got a picture of it. Yeah.
Nice. That is good.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a group that I am that big of a fan of. at the
You like
moment.
the festivals, right?
Yeah, I'm going to Electric Forest this year.
Electric Forest. You've
For
been
the
there
first time.
before, right? Or
No,
no?
for the first time in 4 years.
Okay.
That's the only really festival I've done.
The one in Louisville is supposed to be pretty good in September.
I don't know. I know there's Bonnaroo, which is in Tennessee. It's
Yeah,
a big one.
Coachella. I mean, there's a ton.
And then the one in Chicago,
Flognog?
Lollapalooza.
Flognog?
I'd go to Flognog in a heartbeat.
What is
oh my
that?
God,
I
that's
don't know
Tyler
that
the
one.
Creator.
Oh.
It's Golf Wing spelled backwards. Is Flognog, I think. I would go to that in a heartbeat.
J. Cole has one in North Carolina.
I'd travel to see Tyler the Creator. I'd go to multiple concerts. That'd be fun. But it's so expensive.
What's the one in Arizona? Fireman or Man on Fire or
Burning Man.
Burning Man?
Yeah.
Man.
That's in Arizona? Is it?
It's out there somewhere.
I
A buddy of
could've
mine went
thought-
to it.
I thought it was out in the country in California.
I have no
thought
idea.
in
I thought it
desert
changed
California.
locations. Like,
I think
I
it's
don't
in
know.
the same place. I think.
Somebody
was
somebody
huge.
that's
We would have
more-
to be informed. You didn't bring
Yeah.
us on here because we were informed.
you guys are the experts, resident
Yeah.
experts.
Oh, yeah. We fooled you.
Whatever
well.
we talk about. We don't lie at all. Never once on this podcast.
Never once had I had to pull out my phone and make sure that we were on the right track.
Yeah.
So you ever go to the Buffett concert?
We have.
Jimmy
I've been
Buffett.
Once?
Oh,
once.
yeah.
Cincinnati.
Yeah,
well,
we
that's a
did
good one.
one.
That's a
What
good
was
one.
it at? Do you remember? Coney Island.
Yeah,
right?
Coney Island.
Yeah.
That's where
that
it
was
was.
awesome. That was a good venue for him, too.
That was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a culture. People tailgate that concert. It's awesome.
It's
is.
insane.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It's a weekend
For
event.
old people.
Really? I enjoyed it. I'm fairly old. I'm old at heart, I think.
Old soul.
Old soul for sure.
Had to learn not to go to work the next day.
Sam
Oh,
Dole.
yeah.
You have to take the day off. The
Yeah,
next
you gotta
day.
prepare for that one.
It's rough when you go to work the next
Absolutely.
day.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, we really never went to a whole lot of concerts because there were 10 of us, so we didn't have a whole lot of money. So whatever you did, you just
Right.
whatever you needed.
Should have
So
snuck
you had
in.
9 other siblings?
Oh yeah.
Dang.
6 older sisters, 3 younger brothers.
So
Wow.
that was that choice. Concerts were kind of out.
Yeah.
So sporting
Yeah.
events, yeah.
You have your own
go to
concert with 10.
Oh,
Well, because
yeah.
Reds games were cheap.
Reds
They're
games were
dirt cheap.
cheap. They were good too
Yeah, that helps.
in the 70s. But yeah, so we did go to see Journey. Because if you
Oh,
ask my
nice.
wife about any song,
Oh, yeah.
anything that comes on the radio, she immediately mentions, "Oh, is that Journey?" Nope. We try though.
Didn't Mom mention Journey today?
Yeah, about the
Are they still
Steve
touring?
Perry.
Yes, Steve
Replacement.
Perry was going to go in that aerial, the second replacement of Steve Perry, because there's a big argument because Neil Sean, the founder of the group, was he and his wife were they've taken over anyways. Basically, they were kind of dictating who was going to do what and how much money you were going to get. So he's trying to make
really?
as much as he can at the very
Dictator of the
end.
band.
So they've been out in Vegas for a while. So we went to see him.
Oh wow.
So it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, my sister Mary, she was huge. Journey.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Oh, and Mary, yeah.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, we definitely make family events out of the Jimmy Buffett concerts whenever we can.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just
They're
an
pretty
event.
great. Yeah, it's an event.
Just a group of
It's a
redheads.
come one, come all.
Yeah. Well, Connie and Brian used to come from California. Dee Dee and Brian would come from Kentucky. We had people could just come from everywhere. It's lots of fun.
Oh yeah.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, we've been to many of Margaritaville's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just never been to a Dead concert, but
I
Jay
haven't
just
either.
lives and swears by him. And last year he started going again.
Really.
And so when he told me this is their last year, I guess, and they're going to do like 5. They're going to Chicago.
And
They're
John
going to
Mayer's
California.
the head, right? Like he's taking over main singer, right?
No, not for. I don't think so.
I thought it was John Mayer that took over.
You could be right, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I was around in New York when they came through. No, I think I'm thinking of Insane Clown Posse. Do they still perform?
You got me.
I don't know. I think it was Grateful Dead that came through, and I didn't know the event was going on, but I was on the subway with everybody, and I was like, "What is happening right now downtown?" Or Madison Square Garden.
See, it's funny you mention them because I've never heard of them, but I still listen to 80s music. So every Catholic wedding you'll go to, it's all 80s music all the time. All our music.
Yeah.
So that's the music I stay with. I still listen to. And so my wife told me the other day, she said, I really don't like your music. What?
You're
just
now
listening
telling
to
me?
it?
How many
Station
years you been
25. 35 years. It'll be 35 years.
Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you. She's put up with me a long time. And you? How long have you guys been married?
It'll be 30 in December.
Wow.
Yeah. So it is John Mayer.
John Mayer is with the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, he's the lead singer for them because the lead singer passed
Jerry
away.
Garcia passed away.
Yeah, Jerry Garcia.
Yeah.
So he took over in 2015.
Wow. Did not know that.
Jay
He
always
doesn't
says
seem like a fit for them.
Jay always says that he does a pretty good job. Like he can't replace the original, but
No.
Can you replace the replacement?
I mean he is the replacement.
So we went to, before we got married and stuff, I went to Niagara Falls with my sister and her husband and kids and Aunt Mary. And we get there and, man, I'm just looking around like, wow, these people are just like, into it, I didn't realize there was a Dead concert that night. And so we get there and there's all these people and I'm like, wow, Canada's like,
They love
wow.
their music.
That was pretty funny.
That'd be fun to see.
Was there any topic you were thinking of?
Oh, not really. This honestly was the one I struggled with the most to come up with topics.
For
I
us?
did get a couple.
All right,
Yeah,
well, then
it's
you
like-
just got to give us another shot.
Here we go.
We can do that. Yeah.
So another
I
one.
know how to do that.
I mean, everybody here's been to Vegas, so that's a good
Oh,
time.
yeah, there you go.
enjoy the Vegas slide for 4 days. You can't really do more than that.
Oh yeah, he took me for my 21st birthday.
You did it too? That's
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
Did you? Nice.
Well, I took, because we had the girls first, so I took the girls together when they were 21, when the youngest of that pair turned 21. And they really don't want that out there. But then Brady turned 21 in October.
Here, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So when Brady turned 21 in October, I told the boys, I said, okay.
Who is my
It's your
little
guys'
brother,
turn. Let's
2.5
go.
years younger.
Nice.
So we went out and stayed in Paris, but I can only, the pot smoking downtown, around town is pretty prevalent in the streets,
yeah.
which, hey, to each his own. I don't care.
It's
Doesn't
not as
bother
bad
me
as
any.
a cigarette smoke.
Cigarette smoke's horrible.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah, it's
You can
indoors
only-
and outdoors.
Yeah.
we
the
can't
cigarette-
handle
the cigarette
as
smoke
much.
at
It's
the
so
casino.
just crazy lights and the whole noise and everything else. So we ended up leaving and going to the Grand Canyon for a day
Nice.
just
There
to
you
get
go.
away. That was fun.
Yeah, the strip can be a lot for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, by day 3, you're like, yeah, it's definitely the desert. You still feel in the desert in
Exactly.
some way. Yeah.
But we did have some good food for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to Gordon Ramsay's Steakhouse.
Oh, wow.
Again.
Oh, I haven't told you this, but since our last podcast,
Yeah.
I appeared on the Midwest Crisis.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we recorded. And I only bring that up is because I told the Vegas story on that podcast.
Oh, you did.
All right, tell me the
Where was
Vegas-
where was my invite?
No, they said it's coming on a different episode. We're gonna have Steven on here. He'll probably you can go
okay.
over there.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about it. But I talked about it on that podcast. I think I've told you this, and I'm not gonna say the name of anybody, but I brought a friend to Vegas. And,
Who might come on this show?
yeah, maybe someday he'll be on for sure. But it's day 3, and it's probably like 5 hours before we're taking off on the plane, and we're just walking the strip, and it's just me and my friend walking the strip. And he'd been pretty conservative the 3 days we were there betting wise. He was about even for the weekend, and it was my birthday weekend, so I was big negative. I mean, I had fun, but I was down multiple hundreds of dollars for sure. And him not so much, but we were on the strip, and we come across this table, and we're just walking by, but the guy's shuffling around bottle caps with a bean under it.
Nice.
Just shuffling them, and we're just killing time at this point. So we stop and watch for a second, and then he lets me pick a cap, right? Not for any money or anything, and I pick one, and
You're right.
It's all right.
I was right.
is
Believe it or
amazing.
not,
I can't
it's
believe it.
crazy, right?
You're like Nostradamus.
I know. Batting 1,000. It was amazing. But then my friend goes up there And I'm turned around, and I look back, and he has his wallet out, and the guy's, like, talking quick. He's...
And you're
you
like,
show me money, I'll show you money. You show me money, I'll show you money. Right? And they're whipping out money. And then he goes, that one. And the guy flips it over, and there's no bid, and he screams real loud, and I grab him. I'm like, dude, what did you just do?
oh, no.
How much was it?
And we walked away, and I asked him, I was like, how much did you just put on that? And he said, $400.
On bottle cap.
On a bottle cap.
I
Just
didn't
drink
realize
it
that it
hurt.
was that long.
It
that
hurt.
much.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it hurt for sure.
That's a tough one.
It was tough for sure because he played so conservatively all week.
So does Liam know him?
No, yeah,
No,
yeah,
sure. Oh, okay.
He went to
He didn't know
he went
the
to high
story.
school, yeah.
But
Yeah,
maybe he
told
knows
me.
who it is, but
Yeah.
I don't want to say his name.
Yeah.
Try to embarrass him or something. He'll clear his name someday on the podcast.
Hell of a good guy.
No,
Oh, he was great. He was great. A little bummed after that, but
Yeah.
he was great. I mean, he had a lot of fun. It was great.
Well, we kind of did double duty on our trip, the last one, because our daughter got married in February.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were going to go. I was going to take the boys. So I'm like, maybe I'll invite my son-in-law and my future son-in-law. So all of us went, and it was a good time. We had a good time.
but
I
a lot
decided-
of losses.
We spent a lot of money.
A lot of losses.
Yeah. I think
A
it's
lot of
directly
money.
correlated to how much time you spend there.
Well, we spent more at the restaurants than I did gambling.
Oh, really?
Except I kept feeding the boys. You give them.
He was real generous.
Yeah.
But
It's nice going with your parents.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
The
highly recommend
issue
it.
was though, a lot of times I would go there to sit and just stand there and watch him play, and then my dad doesn't typically enjoy that, so then he'll hand me a couple hundred to go
Get in
away.
there, you know?
Go away or sit
Go
down.
away, but it's just like, I figure you're there for a reason, not to watch. You need
I
some
love
cash.
watching, and then I'll just be
It's like,
handed a
"Here's some
couple
cash."
hundred.
Dad, you're doing pretty good. Why don't you cash out?
That's not typical. No. Because I sit there and watch, and it's usually when you're like, there was this one guy. It was a Scottish dealer for 3-card, and he wasn't getting crap. And I was sitting there the whole time watching him, and then he handed me 100
pound.
to like go, and I was like,
It's like, don't watch this.
yeah, come back.
That's great.
Yeah, there are only 3 things that I get fired up about at all. Bengals.
Oh, yeah. Who dat?
Yeah.
Who dey? Bengals lose or Bengals suck. It's a bad day for whoever's in the room with me.
Yeah.
Number 2, I don't like losing. I'm not like gambling because I'm there. I'm mad at myself, so I take it out on the machine, not the dealer.
Yeah.
I just throw out things that I normally don't say
Yeah.
99% of the time in my life.
Yeah.
Going to the casino after this? Question mark.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's not that far.
It's not
It's
far
not
enough.
that far.
Shelbyville's close.
We can do it. We better finish that bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be a long
Yeah, we're
day.
doing well. We're doing surprisingly well.
I'm trying to think of what the third thing is that gets me fired up.
It's probably
Well,
this
it's
kid.
It's probably Angels, isn't
Yeah.
it? No.
Yeah.
Sister's Axis.
Huh?
Sister's Axis.
Oh, we're not going.
Yeah, but
This would be this would take a
No.
dark turn.
Yeah, there's certain things that will definitely.
No, but I'm saying, I think that was the third thing you said. Fired up.
Yeah, anybody that hits
Yeah,
mine.
yeah. No.
That's a bad.
Happy fired up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But Bengals and gambling are the 2 big ones
Big
that
time.
I witnessed. When I was little, I remember my mom would kick me out of the room because he'd be swearing, and then I would put my ear to the door because I still wanted to listen to the game.
He was learning so much.
Yeah, it was learning
He
a
got
lot.
an education.
But I was trying to listen to the game because I was actually watching, but I would get kicked out because he was swearing, and I'd be like,
I
didn't do anything.
The boys were down there. The girls were never down there. I would always look at the boys, and I'd say, "Boys,
to be fair, Braden
it's
did.
time for you guys to go upstairs." And they were like, "Why, Dad?" Because it's about ready to get real ugly, so it might be a good idea. So at least
fair,
the
my
girls
brother
would just
didn't.
leave the house, and I'm like, I cannot sit and watch a Bengals game. And
Yeah, I get fired up for sure at sports, but most of the time I'm just like mad at referees or something.
He does get.
Oh, I get mad for sure. But it comes from, I'd say, less from you and more my mom.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's, you
Whoa,
the
agree
Bengals,
about
it's
that.
my mom with the Hoosiers, IU.
Oh yeah.
So you could be anywhere in the house and you know
See,
how
Oh,
they're
yeah.
doing.
for us, it's always been like college games. We don't get fired up because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
kids.
well,
So-
kids, and to be honest with you, we've been spoiled. I mean, when you're an Ohio State fan,
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I lose
they're
one game, we lose
good
one
every year.
game.
A bad year is like 9-3.
Yeah.
So, okay, how can you get mad?
Yeah,
The
9-3
kids,
is pretty good.
They're not getting paid. Number one,
Well,
they're
now.
kids.
Now they are.
Now they are,
Wow.
but they weren't getting paid. The kids are doing their. I mean, yeah, they're kids.
Yeah, they're still in school.
And they're going to
Yeah.
get paid.
So,
For Ohio State players.
so the only other time truly was last year when the Reds, because I'm a big baseball fan.
Oh.
I'm probably more a baseball fan than I really was a football fan. But
Yeah.
It's always.
when the second game of the year last year and the Reds were trading off a lot of players, the owner came out in the second game and said, you know, they asked him a question. What do you tell the fans who are frustrated because you're trading off Castillo and all these good players?
Yeah.
He's like, what else are they gonna do? Where else are they gonna go?
Yeah, where else are they
Oh.
Oh,
Wow.
Ooh.
really?
going to go?
Well, I'll cancel
They said
DirecTV.
that.
I'll never
Yeah.
go to a Reds game.
Wow.
I won't spend another penny. There'll be no way I'm gonna buy my kids or my grandkids
Yeah.
any Reds jerseys. I'm not gonna talk about
Stop
you guys.
supporting the team. That's what I'm going to
Yeah,
do.
that's what I'll do. And I've been a Reds fan since the Big Red Machine
Which is the 70s.
in the early 70s. I've been diehard. Used to have season tickets for 7 or 8 years. I won't spend a penny.
Well, this message will get there.
Get
On
there.
the podcast.
There are going to be so many people watching this.
Yeah.
So in your house, was it like in our house, like the kids would invite friends over and to watch like an IU game or something like that? And then the next thing you know, like my wife is very into IU sports.
Oh, yeah. She's yelling like she's at the game, for sure.
Oh yeah. And they're in the living room. Next thing you know, they're outside on the trampoline watching through the window.
Yes, middle of the year.
You don't watch the game, but you got to get creative.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you don't want to be an artist.
It's like, where'd the kids go? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they're outside watching through the window.
When we first moved to Indiana, being a Bengal fan, it's before DirecTV. So the cable system here in Greenwood was called Post Newsweek Cable. I don't know if you remember that back in the day. But basically,
This is before
this is
we were
old
born.
school, man. This is in 80 or 90.
92,
Don't
93.
think
no,
I've seen that
91,
podcast.
92.
Yeah.
But the cable had 2 coax cables that went to your converter box. And so the channels would fluctuate. So like down low and the range was bad, and then you get up to like 15, it was good, and then you get down to 30, it was bad again. Just terrible reception. And so I tried to watch a Bengals game. Well, they're going to play the Colts, they're not going to play the Bengals, number one.
Oh, yeah.
And so the
That's
only
frustrating.
place that I could find the Bengals game was at the barbecue place over on Shadeland Avenue.
Oh,
It was in the
like the
hotel.
16th? Oh, no.
What was the name of that?
Damon's.
Damon's.
No.
Yeah,
Was
Damon's,
it Damon's?
yes. So Damon's was the only place I could go.
Gotcha.
Well, the Colts started to get good. It was a year that they had Jim Harbaugh as their quarterback.
Okay.
And so I went there, and every single screen was on the Colts. I'm like, crap, where am I going to go? I ended up in Greenwood,
Oh, shit.
which is now Stone's Crossing, or Stone Creek Restaurant.
Okay.
But it was a B-Dubs, and it was a trailer, basically, is all that was. And they put a little 6x6 TV at the bar so I can watch the Bengals game.
no shit.
And so I got home, and I told my wife, I said, okay, there's got to be something better than this. DirecTV, and there was an advertisement for DirecTV, and I signed up almost immediately.
Yeah.
And I was probably their first customer in Indiana. I got every Bengals game from then on. And by the 3rd or 4th game of the year, I'm like, what am I spending the money on this? Crap? This is terrible. They're sucky.
Yeah, sports really does drive like cable. Like,
You know it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the only thing we turn cable on for.
Yeah,
and now there's a
absolutely.
million things you can watch sports on,
Well,
too.
now, it's switching to YouTube TV.
Right.
And I jokingly say to my dad, they're following their number one customer because he bought it every year from the inception.
And now I'm on DirecTV.
And now he's on YouTube
or
TV.
YouTube TV now.
Yeah.
So now he's
We did the
getting
same
it back.
thing.
He got 1 year off of it, and now it's back on for him.
But we ended
And
up
we
buying it
still had DirecTV
last year because
it's not the Sunday ticket.
well, they had to thank for Sunday ticket, but you had to be a college kid and have a college ID.
Yep. I saw it at my college
Email
university.
address.
Oh,
He
yeah.
still had his UD thing, and I'm like,
Well, I'd already
It's
graduated.
amazing. Those things don't
Yeah,
have an
but-
expiration date
Yeah.
on them. It's pretty great.
Oh, I saw it. Okay, for anybody that's going to college or is in college, keep your university ID. There's still college
Oh, yeah.
discounts.
Mine's in
and
my
as,
wallet.
as long as you
kept yours?
look like
Oh, yeah.
it, as long as you look like it for as long as you can.
So I don't want to get into your history or past, but you went to UC. What?
Yeah.
And you enjoyed it? I know you
Oh,
went to
I
New
did.
York and you did all kinds of
Oh
things.
yeah, I've been to a couple of Reds games. And it's awesome. I mean, I love.
So what you think of UC and the campus and the area down there?
Oh, it's fantastic. Especially, I went for architecture, and the school.
program.
Yeah, DAP and Cincinnati as a whole. There's multiple schools in Cincinnati all do the co-op program. So, second year I went to trimesters, and every other semester I went on an internship. So, I was able to get a lot of experience out of that. The opportunities were just, right there. Kind of forced upon you for sure, but that's what I signed up for,
Yeah.
And I loved the school. The campus is like really unique. I mean, grew up an IU fan, and Bloomington's like the most sprawled out campus.
Beautiful campus.
Oh, it's awesome. I love it. But it's like the opposite of Cincinnati, where
Yes.
it's just
Urban.
so dense. Yeah.
And it borders on trouble. But they,
Mhm.
I mean, downtown.
Oh, sometimes the trouble's in the campus too. Yeah.
We moved to Indiana because I'm a Reds and Bengals fan, as you know. And so for me, my first job, before I graduated from school, the very first interview I had was with a company in Cincinnati, Millicron. They interviewed me. I got the job. I was done. I had a job 3 months before I graduated in
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
beautiful.
I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
This is great. We moved by Kings Island. But I would go downtown Cincinnati because they wanted me to take German classes. So I went downtown German to take these classes.
Cool.
And I got panhandled 10 times from my car to the...
Yeah.
I absolutely hated it. And I'm like, man, Cincinnati was I thought was the place I really wanted to be.
Well, now.
And now it's better.
Yeah.
But man, it was horrible back in the...
Yeah, like I've lived in Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and New York, and Indianapolis is definitely the most calm. Cincinnati's definitely a step up, where it'd be like, if you go to Kroger, you might get somebody knocking on your window or something. But in New York, if you walk outside, you're probably getting asked if you got change in your pocket. I mean, New York's by far the worst in terms of the panhandling and just general homelessness.
All right, let's take a shot to that.
Oh, Lord.
Come on now.
We're going to end up at the casino. This is what
You said we can Uber.
That's right.
We got an RV. We can sleep in the RV. I got a
You can tell I've
7:30
had 2
appointment.
shots just from how much I poured in that one.
Well, that's a good one.
That's all
It's a
right.
healthy one.
It's not nearly as healthy as the one I poured myself.
Yeah.
Have you done the bourbon tour? Have you gone down to the Angels?
No,
Olympic?
but I want to.
Oh man, it's fantastic.
Really?
It's actually...
Liam's been on.
Yep.
Well, he went to 2, to the same one.
Well,
Did you go to
I
bachelor
went to
parties,
different.
right?
I went to different ones, but Bullet was one of them.
Yep.
3 Roses was
I've been to
another.
Bullet twice.
There you go.
Bullet's really cool.
It is nice.
All right, well, thanks again.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers. You guys, you young kids are amazing. Truly. This is not something that I would have ever done. You ever done this?
Oh, yeah.
Hell no.
Sit around and
It's
drink with my
pretty out
buddies
there.
is fine, but being on,
Yeah.
having somebody see it and listen to what I have to say, or not listen, but
Yeah.
make
it's
fun of what I
kind
say.
odd to think about that somebody might, tune in. And honestly, it's almost scary in my mind where it's like, they're not getting their news from me, right? It's not
Yeah.
like,
Hey,
Don't
Don't follow me.
yeah. Yeah, don't tell anybody about the podcast out there. I got that from the Midwest Crisis. They're always like, don't tell anybody about our podcast. It's
So do you know
hilarious.
you have a reputation?
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is on my list of talking points.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he did have a list. He didn't share those with me.
It's about
things.
you.
Oh, crap.
2 things.
What have I done now?
No, no, you
Oh
have.
no, it's all
it's
praise.
all very good, very
Oh,
good.
Wow.
It's
So
no, you have quite a reputation, just among our friend group for sure, for making fantastic breakfasts.
No,
Just
there we go.
fantastic.
the big reputation.
I mean, quite reviving. You know.
Well, it's funny because we, with the boys, Liam's group started it, and then Brady's group. But for me, it was always great to meet the kids and just to make sure they're safe. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
no questions asked. And in fact, Brady last weekend texted me and said, Matthew Wolf. I don't know if you know. Wolf.
No. That's Greenwood. He went to
Okay.
Greenwood.
But anyways, Matthew
Might have
Wolf,
met Will.
they went to Our Lady, but then they ended up going to Greenwood. So Will Wolf was one of Liam's buddies in grade school, and Matthew stayed with Brady, and they lived like a street over. Well, he just turned 21 last weekend.
Oh.
Nice.
So he texted me and said, Dad, we might need a ride home. I said, okay,
There you go.
no problem.
We
No
hear ya.
questions asked. You tell me where you're going to be. Is it going to be at Purdue? Or are you going to be,
Yeah.
you're going to
How
be here in
far
Indy? Where do I have to drive to?
2
You
hours?
just tell me.
In Cincinnati?
Yeah. He said, "Oh, it's gonna be in Indy."
Speaking
I said,
of, so we met them at Tappers actually. Like it was me, my
yeah,
my
we were
parents,
out
and
until 2.
yeah, and it was like
Oh, so you got to drink with them?
yeah,
of course.
I felt
Oh, there you
old.
go.
Felt
I got to
old.
buy.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, I appreciate
yeah.
that. Yeah.
But I spoke to the bouncer there because
I had to talk him down.
no, bouncer's a cool guy. It was just it was the first time I had been there. He's this tall black guy. He's got dreads. And there was a guy that followed, or that it was this white group that came in behind me, and they called him John Morant. And I literally looked at him. I go, "What?" And he goes, "Some racist ass shit." And, so we became friends because I was like, that was not okay.
Yeah, that
It
wasn't.
was cool. I mean, actually, it was funny because we walked in and we had Maya and Liam were with us, and he didn't card. He looked at us
Yeah.
and my wife was like, "You're not going to card me?"
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never been really carded ever in my entire life because I've always looked old. Yeah, the high forehead. And I've always looked old, so I've never been carded. He's like, "Well, do you want me to card you?" I said, "No, I'm good." But he was a cool.
No, you
He
don't
did
need
card
it.
my wife just to make her happy.
Yeah,
Well,
nice.
that's
But-
he's
but-
smart.
I was talking to him though, and he said that there was some white guy that came in and touched his hair immediately.
Oh,
And
Oh, that's something I learned in New York.
yeah, and then I guess the rest of his group split up and were pissed at him.
It's-
And I was like, that's pretty good. He said it was all white people, and I was like, well, that's pretty good for them to all kind of know that was not okay, and they were all mad at him.
yeah.
Because that's-
Everybody should know touching anybody
Anybody's
else's
hair.
hair.
Unless you
It's
know him
just-
really well.
Yeah, it's just not okay.
They
It's like
should.
somebody coming up and going,
They should, but you would be surprised.
But they're just so fascinated. Oh, they've never seen dreads. They're just like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
your hair.
Well, it's all. The issue with it is it's like basically treating them like they're like a zoo or something. Like you're
Yeah,
touching
right.
them like.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like him coming up to me and
It's
putting
crazy.
on my
It's
belly.
crazy to think.
Like I'm a Pillsbury Doughboy. Hey, lighten up, Francis. Get off the chair.
I worked hard for this.
That's right.
But getting back to the breakfast thing, it was great
Oh,
because
yeah.
I got to know Evan and I got to know Sam and Peter and all the guys came and it was like, I
Peter
don't
will
care
be
what
on
you
this
did the night
podcast.
before, but I knew
Sam,
you
I
guys
don't
were
know
safe.
Sam.
Yeah.
And the next morning, I'm like, I was telling Lisa every morning I'd make 3 pounds of bacon.
Yeah.
So I would have there would be a pound gone from the plate before I even started making pancakes or eggs or anything else. They would come up and they'd say, "Oh, bacon."
To be,
They would walk away and they'd come back. Oh,
bacon.
bacon.
Oh,
to
so
be
good.
fair, I have started trying to do this myself, and I've learned because I remember he talked to Evan and I. He was leaving at one point, and was telling us how to do it.
Yeah, it was
And
not
me,
good.
Evan and I
I
looked at him and were like, "There's no way we're
It
doing
just takes
this."
a little long.
Because he was like, "You got to flip it 6 times. Every time you see little bubbles, you flip it again."
That's right.
And I was just like, "This is
Whoa.
way
And
too
see,
much.
and
Way
I'm-
too much at 7
I'm
in
a
the morning."
one flip kind of guy.
Yeah, I was
I'm
like,
going to
flip
admit on
toes
your
good, flip
podcast,
toes
I
bad.
suck at everything else. I mean, I grill a little bit, but Lisa's the cook in the family. I don't really.
You grill
I'm gone.
recently. You
I
grill
do. I
recently.
can grill.
Before,
That's
before
I
it
don't
was
cook.
well done or nothing.
That's how my family ate stuff. Man.
So
There was no red or pink. It was great.
Yeah. No such thing as blue or
No,
red.
Medium
absolutely
rare, medium
not.
rare.
So
you
you-
ate it dead.
when Evan was like, I was talking to him, talking to him about, like, well, where are you going? He's like, well, I just go to Liam's and go in the back door, down the steps, and, I'm
Yep.
like,
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time I
He's
wouldn't
like,
see it
oh,
until the
right,
morning.
he's great, man. He
Whatever they need.
welcomes us, cooks us breakfast, you know.
I enjoy
He's
it.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
enjoy. And it's funny because I did a lot. I mean, teenagers are tough for me.
Yeah,
It is tough
for
to-
sure. It was tough
But this
back
group,
then too.
these guys were pretty easy to get along with. Liam,
Braden. Are you talking about Liam or
No,
Braden?
your group is good.
Oh yeah.
You guys are very smart, but you guys are always very.
Social.
I mean, I always feel like no matter what I say, like Liam will argue with me and say, "Oh, Dad."
That's why it's friends with differences, because we can't get, we just.
But I love
argue
you
the
guys
whole
as a
time.
group. But you guys are very intelligent. Brady's group is kind of very, very shy and backward. But
They're also
for me,
smart.
I'm easy. It's easy for me to get along with really young kids because I ran the fundraiser at Our Lady for pizza for years.
Nice.
And so I went over and had, they opened up the school at Our Lady again to have lunch with the kids. So my grandkids are there now.
Oh, nice.
So they wanted me to have lunch with them. So I went and met them for lunch. And I'm out there, and the teachers are kind of hanging out, and I've got the whole 40 kids running and playing tag, and they're coming up to me. And at this time, the whole Virtus thing where, hey, back in the day, kids would come up and give you a hug. It was no big deal. Now it's like, ooh, raise my hand.
Whoa, he
hold
hugged
on.
me.
Hey, no, everybody watch.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But
There's a
How
camera.
dare you show affection?
little kids are very easy for me.
Yeah.
Teenagers, you're always trying to find things to.
Yeah, you
talk
gotta
to them
find
about.
like common ground because
Sports is easy.
they start to have
Sports is
opinions.
But
Well, no
I
matter who
would
you are, teenagers, they think your parents are idiots.
compared to my
Yeah,
little brother.
Till they're
I
about
would
23,
say I would
24,
say
and then
my
they're like,
friend-
Yeah.
oh.
Right.
I would say my friends were always social
Oh.
and like good at
Absolutely.
talking to people. My little brother, his friends, like for example,
sorry.
Maya
Oh, you're good.
tried
Got the Bud Light.
like
No, we're going for it. He's going for it.
For example, my girlfriend a couple years ago tried to talk to them, and they stared at her like a deer in headlights. Like they looked at her and were like, "This girl is talking to us." Like Jesus Christ.
I mean, all your
Except for a
blood-
couple of them. There was a couple of them that could, but yeah, they're just not very social. So then, like, if anybody tries to talk to them, they don't know. They're like,
I feel like it's harder and harder to be social with just how prevalent social media is. Social media just like puts you in such a shell.
well,
I feel like
they're also just like gamers.
Well, I hate to
like,
say
they're,
this,
they're,
too, but
they're like
you're-
PC gamers.
I
Probably like your oldest brother.
I mean,
Yeah,
I've hired
he's a gamer.
I've hired young guys, and the hardest part for me is a sales guy. Only the company I own. I like to call people. I like to go see them face to face.
oh, that's how things get done, right?
That's
Texting
how
takes
we did
hours.
things back in the day. Nowadays, it's email. It's all email
Oh.
or texting. It's like you can get things can get so misconstrued with a text.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, somebody will send you a text and it'll be like, "What do you think?"
Well,
and
also,
it's like, well, does that mean
personally,
what
people
you,
don't know how
What
to-
are you thinking? Or what do you think about this?
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather just talk to you and get your inflections and
Mhm.
hear.
Just gauge how they're feeling.
Also,
you
people
know?
don't properly email.
no.
And email, like they'll email you, hey, I've got a problem. Can you help me? Well, I don't sit at my computer.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Like, you need to respond like right now.
Yeah. It's like,
Just call me.
call me.
Like,
you
yeah.
know?
Well,
It's like-
no, our generation's even more like. There's so many different means of communication. Like I got some friends that only respond on Discord. Some friends that only respond on Snapchat.
I don't know anything
Some
about
friends,
Discord.
What is this?
Yeah, Discord's a whole
so
other
Discord
thing.
Discord is like what Braden would do. It's a lot of gamers.
Oh.
Like
Oh.
gamers just
I don't
in
know what
general.
Discord is.
Like gaming, like your
I've never
oldest
heard of
son probably has
Ryan,
a Discord.
yeah.
Ryan.
It's-
I didn't know if we wanted to name
Does
it.
Ryan have
Oh.
Ryan.
Yeah,
does.
Ryan had Discord before I had Discord.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't know.
it's like logs, so you can make a server and then invite all your friends.
well, and you can also
and
do
then,
like
chat's all there, and you can all be in the same call at one time.
yeah, you
and
can do
talk
face
to each other.
calls like for
See,
everybody.
this is where it gets really squirrely because back in the day when we had DOS as our
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I could
yeah.
write programs.
Woo.
And so I knew what the heck I was doing. And then all of a sudden all these apps came out and I thought, oh, this is a fad. Nobody's going to want to do that. You want to write, hey, copy
fad.
star.star, you're copying all your files from this file to the disk. And now it's like, you look at this stuff and it's like, everything is like in one file. So you don't really know what the hell is going on behind the scenes. It's almost like somebody's juggling the balls behind the scenes and you have no idea what's going on. You just give all your information and just,
you
yeah,
always
it's
have
all
to accept.
good.
But
I accept the terms and conditions.
yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking
you don't
of
even read it, you just click on it.
Speaking of like emails though, so I got work. I have people of all ages that I work with on I'm on a military base, but there's like 6-year-olds. They'll always start It's always like
At a military base?
military base. Well, 60.
They're starting.
Oh,
to
0. I thought it was 6.
They're hiring real young. I think there might be a problem.
Like 60-year-olds,
They can get all
they'll always
tight
start.
spaces.
And it'll always just be your first name and then a comma. And I was always taught I was always taught Mr. or Miss.
Mr. Yeah.
Whatever their last name
Yeah.
is, because you don't say Mrs. because you don't know if they're married.
Yeah, especially if
And you don't know some names. You don't know if it's male or female.
Yeah. So I always just do that.
Done that before.
But
Well, some
Well,
people
usually-
email as if it's text.
well, like Terry, like it could be a guy,
Terry,
could be
Chris.
a girl.
Oh, right.
Chris could be a guy, could be a girl.
You know what I heard this week, and I don't know if it's true. Mrs. Like my mom would be Mrs. Hammonds, right? MRS dot.
Yeah.
MRS, right? There's no
Misters.
R in Mrs.
Yeah.
So that surname, I think I heard started with mistress.
That's new.
Yeah, I just thought it was like because the Mr.'s MR and then MRS. I don't know. I just thought it was
Right.
kind
Like
of
you're
married.
married.
Yeah.
But I
That
don't
makes
know.
sense.
I don't know for sure.
That's what I heard on the radio, which might be preferable. I don't know.
You can get in real trouble. I had a. I don't know if I should
I just
say
said
this on the
Mr.
podcast. What did you just say?
If
Was
it's
this on
a woman,
email?
it's a
Was this
hard-
an
so
email?
hard.
Was this an email?
An email.
Oh man,
And
That's
he
wild.
Copied her.
That's
He
Oh yeah. And
copied
so she
her.
called me and said, "Ron." I'm like, "Oh, I don't. I I don't know, but I'll make sure that this
in
is
an
addressed."
email.
Put that in writing.
That is wild to me because like in an email, it's like you cannot. You're not.
But, you know,
supposed
again,
to-
You can't take that back.
yeah,
No bits out there.
like that is on.
And so I called the president of the company. I said, "Hey, that guy needs to be fired. I don't care who he is.
Yeah.
That's not something you do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care who it is.
Email?
You don't
Are
do
you
that.
kidding?
You don't send that
It
out.
was-
You don't even.
Also, was it the
I don't
company
appreciate
email
it
too?
anyways.
Was it a company email?
Yeah, you don't-
Is
yeah.
it- like that's not even like a private.
No, not
Like
private
because
email.
for example, mine's like at us.af.mil. Like that.
No,
If you
no.
wrote something like that.
No.
But
But back in
would
the
be
day,
gone.
this
That's
was
bad.
20 years
gone.
ago, and companies would sweep things under the rug because, he's a long-term
yeah.
employee. He's
Oh,
been
yeah.
here for 25 years. He's a good guy. I'm like,
That's just
you
the
know,
way he talks.
That's fine. He might be a great guy, but that comment can't go out to a customer, and
Yeah,
I
it's
said
not-
he needs
No,
It's
no.
not
he needs
business.
terminated for that. You cannot do that. I mean,
It
You
doesn't
can't.
matter if it's new or old school.
it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, but it's funny because I can, I don't know if you do this with your kids, but if I call the kids, they never answer. It goes right to voicemail. Now Liam's pretty good. My other kids, it goes right to voicemail.
I try.
If I text them,
Call, I try.
they'll respond. I'm like, well, hold on a second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, your life's not that busy.
yeah, right.
You can answer
right.
the damn phone.
What does mom do? What does she like? If you don't answer within a certain amount of time, if Kelly
I have
puts
no idea.
to the kids, "Are you dead in a ditch?"
Oh,
Oh.
well, I used to get that all the time. I don't get that anymore. That used to be.
So that's
not
some-
even. I didn't answer. It was just you haven't talked to. It'd be like
haven't
Friday
talked to
night.
her.
I went over to Liam's. Right. It's now Sunday morning, and I haven't seen my mom. And she texts, "Are you dead in the ditch?" And I have to be like, "No, I'm not."
So she
Yeah.
used to get pissed because she'd text Evan, and then you would be online with Aaron
Oof.
and
Oh.
and playing a game, and she'd say something, and he's like, "Oh, I'm talking to Evan," and she'd get pissed because she'd text you, and
Oh.
then
Must have been in the middle of a
And then-
round. No,
yeah.
I'm not defending
So
myself.
if-
That's bad. That's bad.
if Kelly, my wife, says, "Are you dead in the ditch?" Oh, they better.
And it's funny because I
Yeah, I probably had the high score on
I like
that.
to check in on them.
Yeah.
And my wife, like, especially since the girls have gotten older and
Yeah.
now they're married. And so a lot of times we have 2 grandchildren. Love them to death. Love my daughter to death. Love my son-in-law to death. But we all help them out a lot for the kids. And so we would hope that they would call us like, hey, can you help us out with the kids on this day, and this day. Usually it's the night before. We just kind of wait and it's like, do we need to pick them up from school? Do we need to meet you at the hospital to get the kids, and I said, no, you got to let them live their life.
Right.
They're gonna learn eventually, and they will appreciate us. So usually when it happens is like we'll tell them like months in advance, or we're going on a cruise, or we're going on vacation. We'll say, hey, we're going on vacation.
Yeah, don't rely on us.
In the March,
right
I'm just
then.
telling you, we're gone.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks before, it's like, you guys are going where?
Yeah.
Oh, we told you. I mean, we told you. We're going. You know, you're going to have to figure it out.
We weren't kidding.
We are going on a lot of trips. That's what we're going to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
So-
wonderful.
But no, it is funny because that generation, I hate texting. And so when
Oh, yeah.
COVID hit
I
for
hate
us,
texting too. I'd much rather call.
well, when you're driving,
I'm
driving in the road in Ohio right now. If you are looking at your phone, if your screen is open, they can ticket you.
Yeah.
for
Really?
that. They just passed it last week.
Wow.
I've also learned
Even if
since-
it's maps?
Yep.
Wow.
If you touch your screen while you're driving
Oh.
and they see it,
oh.
like if
No
you're going
kidding.
and the highway patrol catches you touching your screen,
See,
or
that's
if it's on your
crazy.
lap and
What
you're
if
looking
it's
down.
built into the
That's
car?
wild because I do that for my maps.
I know. That's why I've got
Right.
it. I've got like a magnet holding my phone up
Yeah.
so I can see it.
But-
And actually, got pulled over this week, and he was going by me, and I got over in the right lane, and he passed me, and I saw the highway patrol like half mile up, and he got pulled over for that. So you gotta
Wow.
watch. You gotta watch that.
That's
so
so
I usually
crazy.
don't. I don't like if I answer the phone. I go through my, my wheel.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Cars now have a whole monitor.
Right
Like,
there.
There's a whole touch screen
I was like,
in
mine
your
doesn't
car
have
most
mine
of the
doesn't have a
time.
map.
Yours doesn't
right now.
have it. It does. I think yours had a map, but it was
But it's old.
the old.
It's
SD.
just old.
Well, it's
It's not.
the
It
SD
was, but it's not updated.
It's
at
the
all.
SD
Yeah.
card where you had to get
Oh.
the program downloaded
Yeah.
and you put the SD card in.
Yeah, so it's not updated.
It is old school.
But no, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that was
I think I've also learned though with texting, like being in a relationship, I do not look at my phone for texts like at all. Like you'll text me, I won't respond for 2 days.
Because you're in a relationship.
No, just because I don't
You
look at
never respond to
messages.
either.
I don't look at messages. Like I'll answer
you're-
calls. I'll answer calls. I just don't answer messages.
You
leave
answer
that
my
alone?
text. Yeah.
I don't really answer
But-
your text. I you do
do
it
alright.
like
But
you
texting
do
is
you do
bad
a
for this group.
well, but my
For sure.
message is for you. You hit me with the K. Like if I send you anything, I'm like that is supposed to not be okay.
What?
The K?
Yeah, if you just hit K.
I don't do just K.
You do
Absolutely
just
not.
okay.
Show me one. You show
Let's
me one
see it.
in the
Let's
last
see it.
year. I guarantee you it's
I
not
mean,
there.
So I email, text, and call me on the phone.
I am. If
That's
I'm not
it.
answering, somebody will text you and they'll send you a text and say, "Oh, you're ignoring me." No, I'm driving. I mean, I
Right,
don't.
yeah.
I mean, I can't text you while I'm driving down the road. And so they said, well, these kids are really good at. You can do vocal texting.
I've
Oh,
never done
yeah,
that.
I've
I
never done
don't do it.
And so I know
A
one.
lot of people do that.
I don't
Well,
need
see, I
Siri
tried
to
to do it before.
talk to me.
She laughs at me like, what are you saying? You're a moron. Because
Yeah.
I have that, like some words just don't get picked up, so
Mhm.
then you have to read it before you send it. And then I might as well just type it at that point because half the words that she's put in there are not what I said.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not good.
I don't even have. I don't have it talk to text.
Well, mine
or
has a
whatever. I
thing
don't
on
have that.
again,
I
I
don't
don't know a
know
lot
how
of
they do
technology, but right in the text message box, there's a microphone right there.
Oh, right.
Right.
at
So a
the
lot
end.
of times when I send the text, I'll lay my phone down, I might hit that,
You gotta hit.
and before you know it, it's got like all the whatever the TV's saying. It's like I'm like I didn't say it. What is going on? How do I get rid of that? How do I delete that? Because it's sending all this.
But you gotta put you gotta say like periods and stuff for.
Yeah, you have to
Well,
talk
like, one of my-
grammatically correct. You gotta be like, hello, comma.
Yeah.
That's
How are you doing? Period. Or question mark.
That's how the guy
You have
that
to
works
what?
for me is
You have
really
to do
good.
that?
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
doing
all the
speech
syntax.
to text.
Because if you don't
Oh.
say like a
Yeah.
question
Yeah,
mark
that's
or a
annoying.
period or something,
Well, you know
it
how I
won't-
do it.
It won't
Yeah.
take it. So it'll just be all in one.
Yeah, the guy that
Go.
works for me does that very well, and
Oh.
he'll sit there and he'll be
I have
blah
coworkers
blah blah
that do
blah period
Yeah.
question mark. Do you think we need to do this? But I'm like, are you kidding me?
No.
Really? That's how you're gonna do it? No.
it. Yeah.
I do one.
Did I tell you? Conduct business? Yeah, you indent yours like their emails, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you game
But it
everything
works.
together, people are like, oh.
Well, the problem
But
is,
if you like
My
single line,
my grandpa always ends
Yeah.
it with hyphen grandpa.
Oh, nice. He signs off
Yeah.
text.
nice.
Like that.
I
well,
like
the other
that.
thing is, you always like I am very anal about spelling. So I always go back and I
yeah.
read it anyways and change all the spelling. So
Yeah.
So my like age group, we all spell things correctly. We don't do a lot of like.
we all never misspell.
No, but like what I mean is in like we don't.
When they used to spell
No,
incorrect.
but like as in we don't like
Spell things?
simplify things very often. Like we did when we were like
You're
in
gonna have to
middle
expand
school.
on that one.
Like we don't do like great GR8. Like it's GREAT.
true. That's
okay.
true. You don't do that.
Like there are like generations that like kind of.
Oh, that like have the whole text to language.
Yes.
Yeah.
We kind of
I
were
don't do that.
before. Yeah.
I mean, I'll do LOL. That's about my extent.
I just finally
you know?
learned how to put GIFs or GIFs or whatever.
Oh yeah. See,
else?
I love doing those on text because it's hilarious.
It is kind of funny, but
it
I'm
just
sitting
brings a whole
it's
level
like
of
little
conversation.
videos in there. Like my buddies Jay and Wendy, we were going on a cruise, and the day before it was like, so are we ready to go? And so I sent a GIF, which is a picture, and it was like
It's like a little
from-
video that doesn't have
It's
any.
like,
I
I'm
feel
ready
like
to
you
pause.
did yesterday
Yeah.
from The Office. What's her name?
Kate Flanagan?
Wait a minute, you have to
all right,
share.
you better share the shot. You
Yeah.
can't-
Oh,
You know how to pour? That's a penalty.
There.
You're in the box.
How is this? This was quick.
Yeah.
We both caught you.
That's okay. I
I heard trickle, trickle, trickle. Either that or you go in the bathroom. And I have to go pretty soon because I'm old.
That's all right. We have that capability.
Learn from Grandpa Herbert.
Grandpa.
My grandpa.
Don't break the seal.
Don't break the seal.
That's a good call.
Yeah, he always when they went to the Reds games, he would never leave the seat.
I had
until
season
afterwards.
tickets
Alright.
to Reds. and
Cheers.
I bought
Cheers.
tickets for my dad and I, which was a big thing. In 1990, the Reds won the World Series. So I
Oh,
took him to the
nice.
game. He passed away in 91. So in 1990, I got I had season tickets, so we got top, we were in the yellow seats. So we had tickets, but the World Series tickets I got were like top 6 row behind home plate. So my dad, I walked up there with him. I'm like, Dad. And so we drank 8 beers. I'm like, dude, I'm dying. I gotta go. He's like, don't break the seal. I'm like, I could not
no
wait
way to do
anymore.
it.
And
Yeah,
he
the
sat
seal's
there, drank
gonna
2 more beers, didn't move.
And you're like,
He was what, in his 50s?
He died at 54.
So yeah, 53, and he's just chilling there waiting.
I mean, I'm serious. I mean, it was like he just sat there the whole time, drank.
Speaking of, are you at an Indianapolis Indians game?
Well, that's what we were talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
So I went to one.
They announced like their themed nights.
Yes, Star Wars night's coming up.
Star Wars
So-
night
so I went-
and the Kate from The Office, Meredith from The Office. Her
Yeah,
character's
Meredith.
name's Meredith. She's gonna be throwing, I think, the first pitch at an Indians
Oh,
game.
So
really?
I
Oh,
went.
yeah.
I went to an
Oh,
Indians
yeah.
game this past week.
We gotta get tickets.
They-
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, but they have these souvenir
Nice
bats, like basically just plastic bats, and they fill them with beer.
What?
what?
I've seen those
For $18, you could, which is definitely more than like one beer.
It's a
bat.
It's a full.
it's like a
22-inch
it's like a
bat?
wiffle ball.
Plastic
It's like
bat?
a wiffle ball plastic bat,
That
Wow.
diameter,
but
small
thicker,
diameter, or
thicker,
wide.
thicker. It's like one of the new wiffle balls.
All right, I don't want to be cheap.
like compared to this can. Is it wider?
It's probably that can.
The width of the can.
The width of the can.
But still, though, stacking
And-
how many of these?
Five.
And it's literally
Wow.
like I sat there next to
That's
3 other
awesome.
people that got them. I just saw it and I was like, I kind of want to get one of those.
Absolutely,
And
I'm
then-
getting one.
And
sure.
we
Took
went.
that bad boy back.
We went Sunday. We went Sunday. It was a little cold, but I just sat there with one of the baseball bat beers, caught a ball.
Did you
Did
actually?
you really?
The
Nice.
third baseman threw a ball up, and we took my girlfriend's little brother. He came to visit us, and we took him to the game. So he's sitting there, and I was like, "Here you go." So he's got
That
the
is
ball.
a nice park. I gotta admit, I like
It's a nice.
I
it's a
love
nice
going
park.
to the games
It's a nice
there.
little AAA park.
Well, going back and, seriously, Cincinnati I was very disappointed, to be honest with you, when I lived there. So when we would meet up, I moved to Michigan for just like 1 year, and it's before the boys were born, but Lisa had the girls in Cincinnati, and so I had to go up to a job in Michigan. So I was up there for 6 months, and so we would meet, and so we'd meet up in Indianapolis, and I'd take the girls up for a weekend with my niece or whatever to watch them, so at least I'd have a week away. But anyways, Indianapolis, I was just in awe. You go downtown Indianapolis, any night of the week, people are walking around, things are going on. Circle Center Mall just opened. There was a lot going on. I'm like, out of all the places to live, I could see living
Yeah,
not
love
downtown
it.
for us, but Indy is a pretty cool town.
That was.
Oh, I'm an advocate for Indy because
That's where I live.
Indy gets way too much slander for sure. I mean, it has the nickname Naptown because people
Well, it used to be boring.
thought it was the snooze fest, right?
It used to be boring, and I mean, like for example, my girlfriend's mom lived here in I want to say it was like early '90s, and she was a little bored at that point,
It was rough.
and it was rough. And then Greenwood, for example, was a sundown town up to the '70s.
Absolutely.
So she was told not to go anywhere that said Woodville or Land at the end.
Really?
Yeah, because everybody knew like Whiteland, like Martinsville, you avoid those areas. So, I mean, it's definitely changed. Like, I mean, Indianapolis is definitely way better. Like, I live down there now, and it's awesome. Like,
Where do you live?
I live on Mass Ave.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. So I live.
What's the
For
address?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm
Yes, he
jealous.
does.
Yeah. It's,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
good pizza.
Yeah, we
It's
walk
good
right
pizza.
across the street and get pizza and take
Well,
this place.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's good
go
pizza.
back to the Speakeasy.
But there's
Yeah.
a lot of, they have the
Speakeasy
Taste
is
of
nice.
Indy where you can go
I
get
love
the
that place.
discounted
Mhm.
deals for the restaurants. I think what's happened is there's been such an influence or a migration from Chicago down to
Well, it is called Little
I see
Chicago
that.
now. It is called.
I'm going to
Is it
Chicago
really?
this
Yeah.
weekend for the Cubs-Dodgers game, actually.
Ooh, hey,
It should be pretty fun.
I went and, gosh, what year was it? It was when Hideo Nomo was pitcher for the Dodgers. And so we were in the bleacher section.
I'm not gonna lie. You're talking to people that don't know baseball other than me.
Hideo Nomo.
I
Okay,
know
but we were in the
numbers.
bleachers. If you're on the bleachers, it's a great time. So we had
Yeah.
like 25
That's where I'm
guys
at.
that were part of our group. So we were out there in the bleacher
We had
section,
7.
and we passed the cup. Everybody put a buck in, and
Oh yeah.
we drank with the entire section.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
and it was in the right center field bleachers. And I'm telling you what, I'm not a Cub fan, of course, but that was the best time I've ever had at a baseball game.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh, I'm excited for the game. I'm going with a good
It
group of
is
guys.
the
I'm going with
stadium.
Pete.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, Peter's gonna be there. I'm staying at Peter's place.
Oh, okay.
It
Oh,
is
yeah.
an absolute blast.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going up there in August.
Because they don't care. They're there for the party. They're not there to,
Yeah,
Watch a
the
game.
game's an
They
afterthought.
could care
No, I'm
less.
just kidding.
for the most part. I mean, truly, it is all
Well,
about.
and I mean, they've got. I've seen a lot from the Cubs with the that usually like a snake of beer cups. Like they'll have as big
Right.
of like a tower as they can get.
There's some really cool places. It's almost like
Well,
We've been to
Wrigleyville's become
Wrigley. Well,
yeah.
but there's a street, and I can't remember what street that is, out in front of Wrigley Field. But basically, it's all bars and it's all everything's closed off. There's no car traffic. It's just all blocked off. Just like in Boston. I don't know if you've ever been to Boston.
Cincinnati started to do that too.
Yeah, what's the area?
Yeah, but
what's
not
the
like-
street?
Not the same, but I'm saying they've started.
They block off streets for the Reds
It's-
games, but I
and the
can't tell
Bengals.
you.
Yeah, but that's just
Yeah.
the one.
It's just that
you know,
little
new apartment
little
complex
section
and all that. Which
But-
is where I want to have an apartment, by the way.
Yeah.
Ideal world.
Right in
You
between
know,
the
hey,
two stadiums.
Why
Bruce
not?
Chris on the main level. What the hell?
Mom would only
I'd
allow
love
that.
to be one
Mom
of
would
those
only
guys
allow
on
that
a
if you're
kayak,
Florida
you know,
house.
Get your good
every
steak.
home run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stay. Sit out there.
Have
Go
season
to the
tickets to
game.
both.
Season tickets to both. There's a bar down there. That's where they have the Holy Grail. Go to the bar,
really
and then
trying
go
to
have
get
a
us to do
steak,
that.
and then go to the game.
Oh, yeah.
And then come back home.
Oh.
I'm good.
I still have
very
many
nice,
friends in
very nice.
Cincinnati. I love the area. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. To
It's
do
a
in
lot better.
Cincinnati.
Like I said,
I mean-
it's changed a lot.
I mean, I would say almost any city you look at from the '90s to now, though, has like got a lot of new stuff that's come in.
Well, yeah. I
New York-
mean,
Oh, yeah.
Well, and to be honest with you, it's really, and you know, you're drinking bourbon. That industry was completely dead.
Yep,
But your generation, or maybe a few years older than you guys,
it's the
brought that
millennials.
back.
It's the millennials.
bourbon.
Bourbon
Really?
in Kentucky was dying.
Yeah.
Really?
But
Really?
they turned it into this. You got to be cool if you're drinking bourbon. It's
It's
cool.
all it's all the hipster
class.
stuff. Yeah,
For the last 10 years,
Bourbon's
15
hipster?
years,
yeah.
oh,
Blowing
big
my
time.
mind.
Yeah, you go down there and you talk to them, and they're like,
It's a lot of millennials when you go on
Huh.
a bourbon trail. Like a lot of like '90s.
And it
I
is
haven't
gorgeous.
been, but I'd love to go.
you
it's
can get a
awesome.
bus, and they'll take you to like 4 or 5 bourbon
Yeah.
distilleries. And so,
I mean, they're nice.
I don't know if I should say this on your podcast,
I
but
don't care.
No, go ahead.
my first daughter, when she got married,
I like how
my son-in-law. I'm going right into it.
Your dad takes over.
Dive right in.
He goes, go ahead.
This is where I came.
So my son-in-law, his best man or whatever, wanted to go to the bourbon trail. So went down to
Good
Louisville.
bachelor party.
It was great.
It was great. I've had 2 bachelor parties.
And so we went down there, and Liam was. How old were you at the time? You
I
were
was
17?
I was 21, 22.
You were not. Not for Brandon.
No, I was.
No, you were not.
No, because it was after.
They got born in 2019, or they got married in 2019. How old were you then?
Okay, 20 then.
He was 20.
No. They got married in 2020.
No, they got married in 2019 prior to COVID. So Brady,
Close enough.
Yeah.
Brady
He had an idea.
Brady's
Little
2 years
bit.
younger. So Brady was still in high school. So
Yeah.
we went down to the bourbon trail and we went to this place and we're sitting there and they have all they line up 6 shots of bourbon.
Oh yeah.
Well, you drink it in less than 10 minutes.
Oh
They're
yeah.
like, oh, try this.
Sipping.
one. And
It's sipping.
You're supposed to sip it, but basically it's little shot glasses.
Right.
So Liam and Brady did the right thing. They stood against the wall, and these girls came in and said, oh, no, the guy was like, you need to take a seat. I'm like, and Liam looked at me like, what should I do? I'm like, take a seat.
What the hell?
So-
Take a seat,
They
man.
sat down. I figured they were just going to take their,
I definitely
because it's like a wooden plank, and they've got 6 shots there.
If a girl tells you to take a seat,
Yeah.
and
I'm pretty
sit
sure.
down.
I'm pretty sure that time I already took the seat because I had already been.
wow.
No, you had done it, but I wasn't there.
Yes,
I was at Creighton's.
correct. But I had already been there,
Yeah.
so I
You had already
knew
done that
I
one.
wouldn't get ID.
But they did. They
You're
Right
like,
in.
I've been here
So
before.
he tried to be
so
he
I
tried
know
to be
what's
respectful. So, and I know he had already Dayton is not exactly they don't drink.
Yeah, they're not too
Coke and
particular
water.
on that 21
Yeah.
law.
happening. What was that? Coke and water.
Coke and water. So Brady and Liam are standing over there. They asked them to sit down. I'm like, all right, and they poured 6 shots for them, and I'm like, wow.
No, they already
okay.
had the 6
Yeah.
shots poured. It was just 2 different seats. They were open. For example, Maya has a little brother that's that age. My friend Will has a brother that's that age.
Right.
Like, I don't know, for some reason that 2.5
Yeah, there was a
years-
drought there in '99, huh?
Yeah.
No, I'm
Must
saying,
have been a depression or
No, I'm just
something.
saying-
'99.
We took a
Yeah.
vacation.
We did. It took a long
We
way.
took a vacation.
it was like 2.5
Because we had
years.
Everybody was worn
4
out in
kids and
'99.
5
2000, worn out in 2000. I was in 99.
Yeah. Oh, you were '99.
Yeah.
I'm '98. Aaron's 2000.
Well,
99,
You know-
2001, yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
we had 4 kids in 5 years. We took a vacation.
A little
2
break.
girls, 2 boys.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was like at that point
2
we
sets.
had the 2 girls lived in Cincinnati, moved to Michigan, moved down to Indiana, and we were looking for a house, and we still had our house in Cincinnati because I'm like, that's still my
That's
Yeah.
Shangri-La.
my place.
Shangri-La.
And so I'm like, I had somebody renting our house, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to wait. And all right, tipped it.
Hey!
Back to it.
Guess we're staying in the RV tonight.
Uber!
Casino time.
We got an Uber to the casino.
So are you craps? Roulette?
I play table games.
Hey,
I
I
do
think
like
this is a little light.
Oh, okay.
That's
Short
what I was
it in.
thinking. Look at
Let's
me.
go.
Come on.
I was gonna say.
Come
something.
on.
I'm
Sorry, we're
glad
getting- we're
you
getting
said
low.
something.
We're getting
Did
low.
you think so?
I got a
Hey.
little more than you, maybe.
We're getting low.
Who do you think we are, Liam?
Come on. We're not amateurs.
We're getting low.
We're professionals. You better finish
Oh
up.
shit! We
You
better
better
hold on,
finish
finish
it
your
up.
bottle.
Hold on.
Doesn't take long.
Between
Hold on. I went to a shot. Evan's
This
been
is-
going to 2.
This is a. Oh man, we need to bring.
Wait
another
a minute.
bottle.
You
No,
finished with
Evan.
me?
Yeah, of course.
Hold on.
Of course.
You
We
bought
can see
it.
how much.
You bought it.
What's
That's a
that?
double. I got a
No,
double.
no,
right
no.
here. Evan, you got enough?
Oh, I got enough.
Oh, I can
That'll
give.
do.
I'm giving.
All right.
Well, thanks for coming on once again.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Always nice to talk to you.
Yeah, great to catch up. I mean,
Not in between.
it's been years since I talked to you.
I know
for
I haven't
sure.
seen you forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
You're on diabetes.
Oh, that hurt.
No, but you choked up right there.
He's gonna cry.
Don't make me cry. Don't make me do
He's
this.
gonna cry.
I'm a little weak.
When you
I'm
said
in touch
forever,
with
I about
that.
lost it.
That burnt.
I still have
But-
to drink. When he said forever, I was
Oh. But my daughters, we were trying to figure out what we were gonna do, So we ended up buying a house bigger. Had 4 bedrooms, and we're like, we don't really need this. We only have the 2 girls. I don't know if we'll ever have any more kids. I think God's blessed us with 2. That's what we're going to have. And then...
God, we're done.
Then...
God blessed you, and then...
And then Liam came.
and then he blessed you again.
We kept thinking, man, we're just going to have just 2 girls. I'm the first son of our first son.
Well,
of our first
I was
son.
like, you wanted
I'm
a
like,
boy.
I wanted to have a son.
You did.
And I love my daughters to death, but it was like,
Yeah.
I'd like to have a...
I
I'd like
can
to have
understand
both.
that, for
To
sure.
experience both sides. It'd be good.
You were the first son of your...
I'm the first son of a first son of a first son. My dad was the
That
first
is-
son. His
wow.
dad was the first
Yes,
son.
I'm
I'm
the
the
first
first
son of
son.
a
So
first
he's the
son.
first son.
So
So I'm like, I'd like to have a boy just to
So, like,
experience, like,
for
I'd
example-
like to coach a sport where somebody cares. Just saying.
that's good.
The score might matter.
That's very good.
Yeah.
For
That's
example,
hilarious.
he's like Ronald Williams.
Why not? I'm a controversial
There you go.
guy. That's why I'm drinking these. You know?
Yeah, nice.
Give
Well,
me
thanks
something.
on Now, yeah.
You want another? Oh, how about you want another
Oh,
banquet?
yeah, that's fine.
I'll take one of the high noons.
High noons?
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, did I tell you or did I tell you? Said Liam might like a high noon.
I mean, there was no beers left.
That's just not true.
That's not true.
Oh, there's
There
Coors Light. I'll
can't
take
be.
Coors Light.
There's Coors Light.
We
It's
still
gotta
have more.
be more
We got
beer.
more
There's a
banquets.
lot of drinks.
too.
Well, I know, but it's whatever was in the cooler. I'm not
It's
getting.
true.
I'm not having anybody.
He
get
thought
up.
I could
I
handle the full
appreciate
sugar.
that.
Oh, that's 0 sugar. I've never tried that.
Well,
Hey,
But it's
feel
not
free.
diet.
You
it's
know?
in the fridge. I don't know.
Yeah, that
I
was
would
bought
just
for
like,
Ryan. That was
oh,
bought
let's
for my
just
older brother.
fill
to
the
be
cooler.
honest.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But anyways, we had the
So-
girls, and when we got the house, I'm like, okay, I don't know. We'll get this house. That's what we're gonna do. And then it's been just moving marbles, really. Liam was born. My office went
Don't
from
you like being a
upstairs to
marble?
downstairs, and then he
Race
moved into my
marbles, baby.
office. And then Brady was born, and then it was like, okay,
I'm-
they're going
I'm-
together in that room for a short time, and then Natalie's moving to the basement. My office is now going up here, and then we just constantly shuffle everything in the house. So
Yeah.
we always thought, well, we weren't going to stay here forever. Well, now we look back at it. We've been there 25 years.
Wow.
All your friends are here. No.
Here?
All our friends
Yeah,
are.
wow.
This is home. I mean, this is home for us. Indiana.
Yeah.
I know we have discussions internally, but for me, I love the people here.
I love
it.
It's
Indy.
it's
I
not
love
it's
Indy.
not it's not the people that's my issue. It's never been my issue.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I'd hope not as one of the people.
That's one of the people.
It's one of the
No,
people.
it's politics in Indiana.
Well, Indiana.
That's more my issue. That's never been.
Well,
It's never been.
I hate
That's
to
a
say it.
whole
There's not
nother
an
issue.
issue.
No, I know, but
going
it's just like
anywhere
it's
where
just
you
like
completely agree with the politics is hard,
Right.
for sure.
If you
where
want to
where
go
are you
to
going
the
to
opposite
find?
end of the
New York
spectrum,
City,
go to
baby.
Oregon.
New York?
Go to Oregon.
Hey, go to Oregon.
Go to Oregon or Washington State.
Oregon.
I would agree with that. Probably.
That's the opposite end of the spectrum.
I know, but that's probably
And
where I
that's-
would agree.
That's a mess.
That's
So-
a mess.
I mean, it was funny when we watched the election last time, and I don't want to talk politics. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't like it. I look at the people, and the people that were running, I
Bring me
despise.
back to the
Yeah.
John
I look at
McCain
it as if
Obama
somebody
days.
comes to date my daughter, or somebody wants, and they come into
Yeah.
my front door, and if I don't respect them as a person, then I'm not going to
That,
vote for
you
you.
gotta take it person by
So-
person for sure, because
Right.
the parties is where I just can't.
I can't agree with the party because used to be it was Republican and Democrat, but there was a middle gray area where you were an independent, and you can kind of think, okay, well, I like this person better,
Right.
and that's how it always was. In Indiana, it used to be like a Democrat
It
was
seems
our
like
governor,
two
and it was-
extremes.
So it used to be like you vote Democrat or Republican because that's tradition.
Right.
Never.
That's
have
tradition.
I-
Never. Yeah, I haven't done.
Well, in
that.
my family, my
that
family,
was-
my
But
grandma,
now, as you
big.
grew up, when you were us,
my grandma used to
like-
vote a Democrat.
well, my family,
people voted on tradition.
my family voted
essentially.
for Democrat.
Huh.
All of them. I had 10 brothers and
Yeah.
sisters.
Yeah.
All of them, and my mom voted Democrat just because of Kennedy, because he was Catholic and he was president.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with anybody.
After.
They didn't even know who was running.
Yeah.
After-
But
Afterwards.
I'm voting Democrat because he was Kennedy. Kennedy was a Democrat.
Kennedy was on that side.
I
What?
never have been able to
Man.
do that.
I mean,
Like-
George Washington said,
He didn't
like,
want
parties
parties.
would be the worst. Yeah, he said something along the lines of, like, he didn't want parties.
But-
and I have just been stuck on that. It's
What's
like,
so
man,
funny
I think
'cause my-
parties are the
But
problem.
he also
My
wanted
sister-
people just to be. So Washington's idea was, the people would pick somebody, just one person.
Right,
So-
because
so-
I could agree with a person because I respect the person.
Yeah,
but like to
but-
subscribe to a whole party, I think gets
Well, and
right.
think about it.
You
When
like
you go
Thomas
back to the
Jefferson.
beginning, when Washington was elected president, they had talked about making it a monarchy.
Yeah,
And he was like, no, we don't want that.
that was the whole issue.
We don't want a monarchy. That's the problem. That's why we broke away from England. We don't want a monarchy.
Oh, interesting.
And then they picked John Adams because he was George Washington's vice president. So then John Adams was the next in line. Is basically what they thought. And then after that, the issue was they didn't know who. But then it was Thomas Jefferson versus.
But I've always voted. My family, like my sister, I can't remember what the election was. It might have been Bush Sr., who I think is really underrepresented. I think he was a great president. He was a very honorable man, military man, good man. He did what he was supposed to do, and he got out. But anyways, was that election, my sister came to me and she said, who'd you vote for? I said, well, I voted for Bush. She's like, I voted for, I don't know who it was at the time. Might have been Mondale. He's like, I nulled out your vote. Okay. Good for you.
I
You nulled out my vote?
Yeah. she
Well,
voted
one
against
for
me.
one.
Well, right.
I'm like, okay. Well,
nulled out my
to be
vote.
fair,
I guess that's how that works, I guess.
I mean,
one for one.
this is why I always say like New Republicans when we talk about this. Is I said
And I always make a Star Wars joke.
yes.
New Republicans in Star Wars?
Well,
Oh.
because I don't consider Trump an honorable person. So then, I see 20 like with John McCain. Like I think John McCain was a good person. Like I might not agree with his politics, but I think he's a good person.
But he was actually an honorable human being.
But that's what I'm saying.
He fought for this country.
He fought.
Gave a lot.
I'm not arguing that he shouldn't be in politics or a bad person. Like for Trump, it was like he is not a person I want representing this country.
Well, I didn't like
That's
him
what
from the
I'm saying.
beginning when the first comment he made was that John McCain's not an American hero because
he
an
said-
American
he said he
hero
was a
would not
wimp.
be captured.
He would not be captured. He was a wimp.
Right.
Sorry.
Yes.
What are you
I
talking
don't
about?
know. What the fuck are you talking about?
Thank you.
Very good. Very good.
That you don't
Very
say. I
good.
mean, the guy's an American hero. He actually was a POW for a few years.
In Vietnam,
and you're
right?
saying that he wasn't a hero because he got captured.
Exactly.
What?
Yes.
Do you think we're
But on
is it
the
like
other
Japan
end-
where you're supposed to off yourself?
Yeah,
like,
you're
what are you
supposed to
supposed
kill
to
yourself.
do?
Kamikaze!
Yeah.
But on the other end, you don't vote for Biden because it's like,
Oh,
because
see,
of-
I never liked Trump more than I think when Biden has been in office, just because it seems like I don't know what it was, but maybe it's just like because I don't read into policies and whatnot too much, to be honest. But Trump seems more I don't know, like he'd stand his ground than Biden has.
It's really funny
But they
because
could've put someone else.
Exactly.
Other than
That's
Biden.
my
yeah,
point. 'cause
so
when Obama
my
got
point
elected-
was just
settle
I don't
for
think I'd
Biden.
like Trump.
Don't settle.
I think the
Biden.
most I'd like Trump was after
when
Trump had passed.
when Obama got elected, and so I didn't vote for him, of course, but I'm like, hey, you know what? He got voted in.
Yeah.
So be
Yeah.
it. You pass,
And-
and if it goes bad, he won't get reelected.
And another
right.
thing that
Like
I respect,
democracy.
Another
It's finest.
another thing that I respect about Obama though was a lot of people started coming at McCain afterwards, or McCain followers started coming after Obama, and this is another reason why I respect McCain was like, hey, he's our president now.
Yep.
Like you have to
Respect
respect
the
him.
office.
Like respect.
Yeah, what
that he
happened to
won.
that?
Like-
what happened to respecting the
This
office?
is what's
Right,
happened
yeah.
right here.
Yeah,
This
no, you're right.
whole
I'm a
city-
hypocrite at heart.
So
Respect.
That's why
Respect.
I liked McCain because it was like he was like I lost. Like I can't argue against that I had lost. Like you know what, McCain or Obama won.
Yeah, right.
Like
That's
he's
the
our
biggest
president now,
L
we have
for
to back
Trump,
him.
for sure.
Yep.
Was claiming that it was stolen from him was
Correct.
just
Until the very
stupidest
end,
thing.
and then the storm, and then he's like, to me,
Yeah,
and it's prevalent in a
ridiculous.
couple things, and that's why I just don't like the man.
yeah.
Because when he made the comment that, it's all about bad publicity, doesn't make a difference if it's bad or good. Any publicity is good publicity.
Right.
Not when you throw out
Wow.
crap and you're always condemning people and making
Yeah.
negative comments. If you open it up and
News
that's the problem
isn't
with
good
media.
news.
No, you
Respect.
make shit up. Respect
I mean, it's good.
Respect.
It's good for a celebrity. It's not good for a politician.
Yeah, respect.
It's my.
Is good.
So like
Don't
for,
settle.
News is
Respect.
hard. News is just so gray nowadays, especially with social media. Like,
Right.
I'm on Twitter, and that's
Are you on
basically my main news source.
Because of Evan.
Yeah. And
Because
more
of Evan,
people
I'm
have
on
shied
Twitter.
off of
Because
Twitter
he
than
told
any
me
other. But
a few things that
But-
he learned on Twitter. I'm like,
the
and so I did like
pretty much, because it's my
like
news. It really
within
is.
a year. Like during COVID, like I didn't do Facebook. I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I like text, email. Cell
What
phone.
news source you're going to go to? That's the problem.
That was
Who do
it.
you
But
trust?
during COVID, it's like my great nieces and nephews. It's like,
I mean,
I'd
I-
like to see
I mean-
a picture
I
of
mean,
them.
I use Facebook strictly for pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and it alerts you to birthdays, anniversaries, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I use it
That's
for that.
helpful.
I
Yeah.
use it for that.
Yeah.
But
I-
other than that, I mean, the kind of stuff they post, I'm like, once you select something, like if
Yeah.
you read an article, you see something that's like, well, that's kind of interesting. I'd like to
Rabbit
see what
hole.
this point of view is. And then before you know it, every point of view you see directs you to that same
Right.
point of view. I'm like,
Yeah.
Right.
hold on a second.
The algorithm
had-
just
Feed you.
absorbs what you click
Yes.
to. You
Same
know?
with YouTube.
I have
same with all of them.
Facebook and Twitter because of him,
Well, yeah.
Evan. And that's because, just try to see what people are talking about.
Mhm.
It's like, he's like, well, Facebook is like, I'd like to see my great nieces and nephews
Thank
that
you.
I haven't met during COVID. And then Twitter, he's
Yeah.
like, well, I heard about that on Twitter. It's like,
I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way. I mean, we have a different point of view because, like, my wife is an occupational therapist and works in inner-city schools. So she works with IPS school systems and sees a lot of things that I don't see. I'm a small business owner, and to be honest with you, if it wasn't for small business owners and the amount of tax we pay, this
yeah.
country wouldn't do shit. Because, if you make millions of dollars, you have every loophole in the world. You don't pay shit. We pay 30 to 40%, and there's nowhere for us to hide.
Yeah. 30 to 40% is wild for small businesses.
Oh,
so you get to a
absolutely. Thank
point
you.
where
I can hire
your
more
small
people.
Yeah.
business
Right?
becomes
fucked.
large.
Yeah, we're fucked.
I'm sorry.
Well
I'm
done.
not supposed
No,
to
no,
say
no.
that.
I applaud you both.
We're like,
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just
we're
telling you, we make
whatever.
good money.
Hey,
I'd like to hire 2 more
The
people for my
absolute
job,
backbone.
and I cannot.
And
I
he
mean,
voted
seriously,
Democrat.
when I looked at how much I had to write in taxes this first quarter, it's 4 times as much as I made when I first started as an
Yeah.
engineer in an industry.
Really?
like,
Write
yeah.
a check for $100,000 and tell me that doesn't hurt.
Mm,
That leaves a
I
mark.
couldn't. I've never done it, so I couldn't.
But-
yeah.
I mean, I'd rather
It's-
hire somebody and pay him $100, but it's not a 1-to-1 variation. I
That
mean, I
chick-
can't pay somebody $100,000 and not pay it. I'll pay him $100, and I gotta pay $75 in taxes. So
So, fourth
Wow.
quarter and first quarter.
suck ass. I mean, I paid last year. I'm sorry, Liam.
Yeah.
Close your ears.
Sorry.
But last year in taxes, I paid $275,000 in taxes. That's ridiculous.
Jeez.
How do you pay $275,000?
Federal
I could
and
hire
state?
3 people. Yes.
Do
Yeah.
what?
State's not that bad. State of Indiana.
It's
not
always
bad.
federal.
I mean, I could pay 30. I usually 25 to 30,000. But federal, absolutely. I mean, I
Hey,
have
thanks. You
zero
pay for my- you
deductions.
pay for
so
my job.
I pay for all my kids' college
I know,
out
but
of pocket.
but you pay for my job.
I
Yeah,
pay
thank you.
for.
Well, trade school helps because next level.
Trade school, I always say, is
So-
should be.
I agree with
I'm
you.
sorry.
I agree with you completely.
No, I think
I'm good at
I
cyber
always
too.
I always say that trade school should be a bigger thing in high schools, because I feel like a lot of people go to college and college isn't for them, but then they don't have anything. I think trade schools should be taught more.
Foxlow, our last
So,
guest on the podcast, said it better than anybody. But like
Yeah.
his counselor, when he went to IU, his counselor, he went into
Basically
a
said
counselor
college
meeting
wasn't for him.
and he said, like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm trying to figure it out. And he was like, maybe college isn't for you. And then he dropped out.
But
He was like,
That's rare.
Please
yeah,
continue.
but it's
Please
bad.
No, I'm just saying. I think that when I look at it from a business owner, you're in a, electrician, that trade.
Business owner.
It's big time. I mean, people, if you go into that technology and you're an electrician, you can make a very good living, you can support a family. As a business owner, I have 2 separate businesses. I hired You never knew him. You don't know him. He was working for a landscaper in Greenwood, Indiana, making $15 an hour. I hired him as a general. Essentially, he's a pipe fitter. You know? But we are an independent company, so I paid him. I said, Spencer, I'm going to hire you. You're going to make $25 an hour. He's like, oh my God, $25 an hour? Yep, you're going to make $25 an hour, and I want you to learn more, want more. I don't want you to be.
Yeah,
I'm going to work for you forever.
I want you
I'm
to
like,
scale.
Look. I want you to learn as much as you can. I want you to work your way up to. I want you to be a supervisor of that group. I don't want you to be
make money on the job. I'm
going to do this forever. I'm like, no, Spencer, you don't get it. I'm serious. I own the company. I want you to learn as much as you can. I want you to do more for your family and your life. I mean, as a small business owner, that's what I wanted to do.
Very good.
But for example, more people should go to like C9, which is Southside. Like I think trades are really important because
I'm talking like mechanical, electrical.
I mean anything. I think
just
for example,
general systems of our existence, right?
I think for example,
operate in general life.
You see some kids right at our school, like at our high school, that they're probably not going to do great in college, and that's okay. But they could be electricians, they could be plumbers. They would make much more money than going to like work at a fast food restaurant.
And not that it's money, but all you have to have in our industry,
it's better. It's still better for them.
I mean,
it's
seriously,
living, right?
It's a better.
All you want to do is have drive. If you have drive,
right?
And I don't care if like I hired.
Well, that's a problem.
I shouldn't say this.
Itself.
If he sees his podcast, he's not going to be happy. But and we're paying all his expenses and all his stuff. He has as much drive as my 6-year-old kindergarten.
It breaks the seal.
I'm breaking it.
Liam,
sorry.
Learn.
Whoa!
Master.
The first break the seal.
He's 56. It's like my grandpa.
Yeah, but I'll wake up 3 times a night and go.
What's break?
That's the
we're
truth.
going to the casino first.
Man, he is trouble. But
really,
anyways,
who'd you raise?
I have no idea. But I mean, I struggle with that because, I started working. I paid for everything from the age of 14. I mean, it was like you had no choice.
Yes.
You wanted to play baseball. You had to get a job to pay for a glove.
Yes.
You want to buy a glove? You want cleats?
Did you guys both have paper routes?
I absolutely did.
Wow.
Yes.
I respect that
I almost
so
got
much.
bit. I was on a
I bought my
jumping on
first pair of Nike tennis shoes.
Oh man.
Nike cleats through a paper route.
Yeah.
Christmas time.
No, that is so hard. Nike cleats on the paper route.
Oh, it's huge.
I just
that was big
bought
time.
Nike tennis shoes, not cleats.
Well, right before that, I bought a pair of
That's
Converse
crazy. That's
high tops.
High tops. Oh.
I paid for those on my own. My first car, I paid $150 for.
I bought.
Oh wow.
I made like $13 a week.
Yes. I had to pay rent.
Yeah.
At $13 a week.
So
what age did you guys start paying rent? If you don't
14.
mind me asking. You started paying rent at
14.
The
it was minimal, but
yeah, right. But you started paying for life.
I paid.
Yeah.
What time?
So
when
you
did
got
start
the
paying?
first check on your own, whether it was newspaper, job.
Yeah.
The first check on your own, and then it was 10%. You paid your mom and dad.
Absolutely.
So if you made $15,
this was just like a rule that was in life, and then they did away with it.
Absolutely.
then if you made $15,
It's kind of like the church. Like people
You
gave
tied
10%
your money to the
to
parents.
the church.
so if you made
10% to the church, 10% to the
It
family.
went to
if you
I don't know
made
about you.
$15,
yeah.
10%, mom would take.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know
$1.50.
about you, but I didn't have to pay.
Mom and Dad.
Nice.
Put those in the cooler.
I didn't pay.
Appreciate that.
I didn't pay my car insurance or anything like that.
Oh, I did.
But I didn't
At
have to because I didn't have a
16,
car. But I paid my mom. Like I worked at Wendy's, and I was playing. I mean, I was a good baseball player. So I was traveling, playing baseball. I would go from the baseball field to Wendy's. I would close at 2 a.m. I had 4.4 in high school. I was honor society. I had all that stuff.
4.4.
Oh yeah, I was smart.
Calm down.
2 in the morning, baby.
4.4.
I was hot.
But wait a
I had a
minute,
4.6.
2.4.
Hey, we're not talking about you right now.
2 a.m. I
2
closed.
a.m.
Help!
Oh, yeah.
Mine was
Help-
10
helps-
a.m.
helps when
or
the
10
college-
p.m.
Not 40,000.
So
That's true. But I had a full ride to Ohio State because I was pretty smart.
Ohio State.
Is that where you went?
I started
For
there.
a
I drank.
semester.
That was my one period. That was one period in my life because I didn't go to any high school parties.
At UC, there's so many
There's-
Ohio State fans.
I went to
just
Ohio State
because there's so many in-state.
I
people.
lived
Same
in the
with
Horseshoe.
Yeah.
So that's where I went to. I mean, I went to Ohio State. I was at
Lived in
full.
the football stadium.
I had an ROTC scholarship. My destination, I was destined to be a pilot in the military.
Nice.
But I lived in the Horseshoe, and I'm from a family of 10. I only had clothes that I could afford. So
Yeah.
Right.
we had to get up.
He's similar.
We had
Eight
to
or
clean the
eight?
stadium.
Is that right?
I'm thinking it's an 8.
Yeah.
So we had to clean the stadium, and that's where ROTC got money. So Ohio State football stadium, think about that. We had to get up at 4 in the morning, muster, run 3 miles, go to the
Yeah.
stadium, clean all the shit off.
I need
They
to.
made a hot dog. They had a hot dog volleyball thing for us. They took all the money. We got paid, like whatever,
So my old roommate.
Wait, is this regular?
every week.
so,
Every
so,
week.
So, he's
And
on-
how old-
he was in the ROTC.
What's that?
How old were you?
18.
I was 17.
Yeah.
I graduated high school
my.
at 17.
So my
Yeah.
but my friend Pat went. He
You
was in the
graduated at
ROTC.
17 too?
Yes.
He
Really?
he was.
Wow.
He
What's
was,
your birthday? And I
Yeah.
was at Ohio State. I lived in the Horseshoe. I was there, and my mom and dad bought me like OP. Ocean Pacific was a big thing back in
Oh.
60. Well,
What is that?
70. Ocean Pacific was a brand. So it was like
Brand of what?
multicolored.
I
It was
had
like
buddies.
ocean kind of stuff. I never had any kind of. I didn't have, like seriously, buying those Chuck Taylors. That
no.
was.
Oh,
that
It
yeah.
was buddies.
big
Brands or
time.
Was
big?
it buddies?
Oh,
Oh.
you gotta love a label.
My
It was
so
buddies.
my roommate was
Like
in ROTC at UD.
Yeah.
But the
It
big
wasn't
reason was for
Converse,
that
it
scholarship.
wasn't nothing else.
And he was gonna get the big scholarship, which is full ride
Yep.
to like UD for example, which is like 45
40,
grand,
yeah,
40
40 plus.
grand a year,
Yep.
which is ridiculous. But he unfortunately had
Yeah, Dane's private, sorry.
no, it is. So it's the same across the board, which
Yeah.
helps if you're going out of state. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
the same. But so he had gone to UD freshman year, was a kicker. So he had a
kicker.
athletic scholarship. He was Ron Colley's kicker.
Mm-hmm.
For
yeah, Pat.
field goals or what?
Oh.
What would you say? For football.
Yeah, Pat had a
Field
leg.
goals or field goals?
Field goals, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was a very good soccer
He,
player.
and he was a great kicker. But so freshman year, he was a kicker. Decided he didn't like it. Switched to Purdue sophomore year, and then came back junior year to UD. So he joined ROTC junior year of college because
Really? I don't think I knew this.
yeah. So he joined ROTC because there's a big scholarship, and like 4 or 5 of the kids, and he was fit, so 4 or 5 of the kids get full rides to UD, which again, a lot of money. So
Yeah,
so
40
he,
grand
So he was gonna get
plus.
that. He was gonna get that full ride. The only issue was he had some sort of. I think he had some sort of heart issue. I
Medical
don't remember.
issue.
He had to stop doing ROTC, but they were
Damn.
gonna give him that scholarship. But like ROTC, I mean, for anybody
Well-
going to college, can be good money.
Well, when I was at Ohio State, seriously, I lived in the Horseshoe. I was right on the south end before the southwest, before they put the stands up there with the big scoreboard. So when I was there, it was 84, and that was when they had Keith Byers and Pepper Johnson, and the Ohio State went to the Rose Bowl. Ohio State fan. So I lived in the Horseshoe, and I'm running. We have to get up. We had to muster at 5 in the morning. We had to run 3.5 miles. You had to run it under 20-some minutes.
That must
Well,
have
the problem
worked.
was,
Jesus.
I had like the clothes that my parents could afford to buy. So I'm standing in. We had to muster every morning, and I don't want to get military, but the Marines
Yeah.
ran the ROTC program at Ohio State.
Yep.
That
So
makes
It's still
sense.
that
They
way.
had just
Yeah.
come back from the juniors had just come back from their mini boot
I'm
camp
pretty sure Ohio State's still Marines.
in Carolina. It might have been in Lejeune where they're having the big water issue. But anyways, those guys had just come back from their mini boot camp, so they were all, hoorah, big time power.
So-
and
so-
I'm like 17 years old, and I'm like, hoorah! Yeah, fucking.
So
I'm laughing. They're like, "Where'd you get those pants?" I just smiled. It's like, well, whatever whatever my parents can afford. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
And so it's like, run another mile. Sure, I'll run another mile. I don't give a shit. So I'd run the mile. Well, the problem I ran into is that the ROTC program at Ohio State, the head of it was a Marine, and his last name was McGowan.
Oh.
So back in the day, we didn't have texting and cell phones and all that stuff. So Lisa and I wrote letters to each other all the time. Well, apparently, a
Nice.
letter from
That's cute.
my girlfriend
Man.
my wife, Lisa McGowan,
Nice.
fell into the lap of
I-
the
Oh,
commander of the
man.
ROTC program,
That
whose wife's name was
sucks.
Lisa McGowan.
Oh,
And so
That's
all of a sudden we're
crazy.
sitting there, and we had the first meeting, and the very first class I had at Ohio State.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
the very first class I had at Ohio State, it was actually the coach of Ohio State, Woody Hayes.
Yeah.
It was a big
Woody
ROTC.
Hayes?
Yeah. So he has this big
That's a big
speech,
name.
and it was like, oh my God, this is Woody Hayes. He's giving a speech. He's big ROTC, big military.
Big,
I'm like, oh my God,
big.
this is fantastic.
Hat butted at
He
somebody
leaves
from
the
Miami.
room. He leaves the room, and all of a sudden, the head of the ROTC program, this McGowan, starts reading this letter. I'm like, oh, that sounds so familiar. I'm like, oh, God, dang it. That's from Lisa. When he reads it, and he's like, oh, signed Lisa McGowan, love you, Lisa McGowan. And he's like, is there a Ron Herbert in here?
Oh!
And in front of 150 cadets. I'm like, oh, God. So he's like, come on up to the front of the room. So he called me to the front of the room in front of all these cadets. I'm 17 years old.
Yeah.
He's like, okay,
Jeez.
so you need to do 50 push-ups. All right.
All right.
50 push-ups. I'll do 50 push-ups. And then after that, he's like, okay, so, and then, of course, he called a private meeting, and he's like, I'm like, how did this note fall?
Yeah, why do you have this
out
note?
of my notebook?
This is
What?
yours.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody freaking raided
Give it to
my notebook or whatever.
It's not like.
And so I had to
today's
run an
social
extra
media.
3 miles a day. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Whatever you want. I don't. And it was just this whole game. So then when you look at it, I'm 17 years old. I was supposed to go to flight school. You had to give 8 years because I'm in the engineering. So you had 6 years of school. You had 2 years of flight school. And then you had to double that for your military service. So I'm like, okay, I'm 17. It's 8 years of schooling. In 8 years, you have to get back to the military. So that's
33.
16. Okay, I'm only 17. That's double my life.
Yeah, jeez.
That's like.
No, I don't
That's it.
think so.
I've never signed up for
That's
16
the-
years
No, I
of
didn't know that.
anything.
But everybody else in in your dorm room, it's before school even started.
Oh my
So all
God.
these guys are partying, having a good time, and I'm buckling. I'm like shining my belt buckle and buffling my shoes and all this crap. I'm like, I'm just not. This
Like,
is not my
no.
thing. I mean, I'm going to dedicate. Yeah, okay, great. Tuition at Ohio State when I went in '84 was $600 a quarter.
God, I wish.
3 quarters, $1,800. Now, room and board was more expensive, but
Yeah.
that's how much it was
Still,
for
God, I
tuition.
wish.
But they paid us a stipend. But that stipend was we had to clean the football stadium at Ohio State, 100,000 people
Yep.
from top to bottom. We had to go there on Sunday morning. We had to run before we cleaned the stadium, and we had to clean it from top to bottom. And then the end of the day, about 4 in the afternoon, they would give us a hot dog cookout or whatever at the ROTC thing, and we would
Something
have
keep you alive.
volleyball. So that's what I got for my friggin' stipend. I'm like, screw
Trade
this.
school.
Sign me up, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I went to the guy
Trade school.
after he called me in and had read this letter. I'm like, I'm good. I'll pay you back. So I ended up paying back my ROTC scholarship.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not for me.
Huh.
This life is just not for me.
16 years is a long time.
That's a long
man.
commitment.
When you're 17,
I barely know
That's-
16. Like I barely know
I mean,
that.
I mean, seriously, at Ohio State, and then after I got out of the ROTC program, I had 2 quarters where I was living a normal college life. I had fun. I
Yeah.
had a great time. It was like,
College is a good time.
it was fun.
Well, yeah.
But at that point,
It
I'm like,
can be.
okay, I'm not Blutarsky. I didn't have a 0.00 GPA.
Yeah, you had a higher GPA
I
than
had
I
a
did.
2.8,
for sure.
and I'm like,
2.8.
Oh wait, just
okay,
kidding.
I'm a full ride student at Ohio State, and I got a 2.8. And the guy, I'm like, okay, I'm-
That was high school.
Okay, well, out of high school, you had a higher than
oh,
I
I
did.
was number 6 in my high school. 8. Lisa was 6.
Yeah,
I
I
was
wasn't.
8.
Yeah.
I was number 8 in my high school class.
Really?
I was vice president of senior class. I played varsity. I
nice.
did all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, I had my little 6 months of fun.
My
Now
mother-
it's time to focus and buckle down. So Lisa at the time had said she was going to transfer to Ohio State because, I mean, I really had a good time. I had a lot of fun friends.
Yeah.
I was like, it was great, but I'm like,
There is a
that's
route.
not where you want to be. So
Yeah.
that's why I transferred. At
He's
that
going to
point,
the library.
You went to where, if you don't mind me asking?
EKU.
Eastern Kentucky.
And so they didn't have
Eastern
engineering, but they had
Kentucky,
industrial engineering, industrial technology.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's fine. So I moved down there. I had to pay I paid for my college from penny one. I had to pay back the ROTC scholarship. And so when we had kids, Lisa's parents paid for their college.
2 years. Yeah.
So when our kids were going to college, the debate was, I'd like to have them have a little bit of skin in the game because I paid for all mine,
Yeah.
100%, and I worked 40 hours a week. I went to school. I mean, I think it's good for the kids to learn a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got overruled.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I paid for some, but not all. Don't get.
I mean, the issue
wrong.
is.
Thank you.
You said
It's much more
You
expensive.
said $600 a quarter.
Yeah, it's much more
$1,200
expensive. I'm not
semester.
disagreeing with that.
Well,
Compared.
I didn't think I had an opportunity to go to college. So,
I mean, out of the 10 kids, I'm the only one that
Did
my
you
siblings
apply
went
at
to
all?
college.
Sorry.
Yeah, did you apply at all? No.
No.
no. I mean,
No.
I mean,
I
we've
didn't
talked.
think I had a choice.
Yeah.
But
I
you're
mean,
younger.
still
than
went
me,
to trade school.
right? Back in the day when we were going to college, it
Right.
wasn't like now. It's 90% go to college. When we were graduating from high school, it was 50% maybe.
Right. So I didn't think I
50%,
had a
right,
choice.
yeah.
College was not a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a number of other siblings in front of you. Did
So
your
Uncle
siblings
Bill
pursue
did
the
carpentry.
college route?
Uncle
Carpentry.
Frank did masonry.
Right.
Oh,
Tom
okay.
did electrical.
I mean, that's still
Most
good
of them,
trades, though.
yeah, all of them pursued
So,
trades.
and I was like, they were like, well, you need to be a plumber. I'm like,
What?
a plumber.
We
I'm
can
like,
you have the whole thing.
I went to Tech, high school. I'm like,
It's one of my great grandma.
no,
Yeah.
I don't want to be a plumber.
Yo, we need to have your great.
So I did
She's
carpentry.
dead. She's dead.
So I did carpentry,
Sorry to hear that.
and so it's like,
But
Trade school.
and that's the problem. I mean, my dad was an auto mechanic,
Mhm.
so he was an orphan, and he was he had 12 siblings.
Wow.
So, but his
Wait, do you know how many siblings your dad had? You probably do. Sorry, I
Uncle
totally
Henry, Uncle
spent
Joe,
this
Uncle-
conversation.
He was one of four,
One of four.
but
Yeah, I just like hearing how the decades proceed.
and it's really funny because I don't know about you. See, his dad was a truck driver, and so he was.
my dad's dad owned a brothel.
Oh,
Oh, really? Yeah.
There's something for the books.
A brothel.
There you go.
Yeah.
So my dad
Come from
that's
some
what-
back as a truck
EIMPs.
driver, and my grandmother, he would get her pregnant, and he would take off on the road again. Well, after the 10th kid, he kind of that's cool. It was very sporadic. So, but back in the day, they didn't have.
I mean, how many people's parents?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine a ginger pet.
That's just funny.
Yeah.
So
The
my
more you
dad, he was the oldest son of his dad, and so his dad came back, got his mom pregnant a couple times, and he would disappear. Well, then finally he never came back. So his mom, my dad's mom, moved in with her mom, and they tried to raise these kids. Well, back then they didn't have
Yes.
welfare. So the grandma and the mom tried to raise them. Well, the grandma passed away. The mom couldn't handle it. All the kids got put in an orphanage. And so my dad, he was 14 years old. Who's going to adopt a 14-year-old boy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
14. It's just like right on the edge of not.
Nobody
you
wants
know,
him.
kid. You're
And
basically an adult.
And
you know?
my dad was a good athlete. Actually, he tried out for the Reds and could have made the Reds, but he was too young. So
Yeah.
when he had
Really?
a chance, he dropped out of high school, went in the military just to get away. So he never graduated with a high school diploma. So he ended up coming back and went to work he was an auto mechanic
Worked for Grismer.
So your dad
Firestone.
started at 14,
at 14.
and my dad started at 13, setting bowling pins.
So see, I mean,
And
back in the
then
day,
worked in the bakery.
they just did whatever they had to do to survive.
raise
But
their family.
Yeah.
But I also think like trades are just not taught anymore. Like
Not at all.
you're told to go to college no matter what. Like
Yeah.
no matter what your degree is, which to me is crazy because
Like, college is promoted excessively.
But I
probably.
also think there are
ridiculously
some degrees where it's like, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
I learned
an
from
English degree is a pyramid scheme.
Well,
or
from
a
my
history,
perspective,
or a history degree.
from
you
what
only
I
get so many
see,
jobs.
I really wish the industry would work with high schools, and the trade schools would be promoted more than anything, because I don't need somebody with a degree in business to be able to make a good living.
No, that's
I mean, I'm telling you, it's thanked me profusely for what
Taking
we've
a
offered
shot.
him. And I'm like, dude, all you have to do is show up, show effort,
Mhm.
and try. I mean, that's all I can
If,
ask for.
if you have the capacity to learn, you can go.
And
you
he's-
can go.
he works hard, and you know, truly, I mean, for our company, we have the two companies, but you know, we paid him a good salary. He makes
Yeah.
$25 an hour. I don't care if he
It's
works
worth it.
overtime, whatever he wants to do,
Yeah.
and bonus wise, I mean, he made $80,000 last year.
Hell yeah.
No degree, but I told him, I said, you know, I don't want you to aspire. I want you to set your sights higher.
Yeah,
want you to-
for sure.
I want you to learn as much as you can. I want you to outgrow me. I want you to say, Ron, you don't have anything for me. I'm gonna go do. You know what? I want you to make the most out of yourself.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
he has no degree. He's not college educated. To be honest with you,
No,
Ivy Tech maybe.
again, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like I think there are degrees that there's too many people that go into like history
Right.
or like English, where it's like you know
for
what,
sure, college is bloated.
where it's
It
like
is.
where it is like electricians are needed. Like there's lack of electricians. There's a lack of plumbers. There's a
general
lack of
HVAC.
yeah. I mean.
People don't want to work, and that
Skilled
is a problem.
trades.
Skilled trades, for
Yeah.
example. Like my girlfriend's little brother, he has like a mental disorder, right? So they kind of try to get him into trade school, and it's like, you know what? Like you could learn a trade and you could make good money without having to like worry about academics, right? Like you don't have to worry about going and putting a bunch of money into loans or anything like that. And it's like, you know,
I'm just
It's-
saying
it's good.
there's truly a market for people
no, there
that
is.
have the ability to work. I mean, if one of my best,
Yeah.
probably the most successful person I've
Be a
ever
market
met,
for anybody willing to work.
went in the military at 17, and he had a painting company. So he worked for United, and he worked for the train depot here in Beech Grove.
Yeah.
Amtrak.
Amtrak.
No.
Amtrak.
Yeah.
So he has a retirement from United. He has a retirement from Amtrak, and he had this painting business on the side. But he would work all day, or work 4 10s, and he would do this painting on the side. Well, he would flip houses. He would do this. He would do
Yeah.
that. His wife never had to work outside the house.
Yes.
He had, but he was like driven.
Yeah.
He was doing all this stuff, and he mechanically had the ability, and everybody wanted to see him. So like I would call him and say, hey, you know, I need some painting done, or I need
Something
this
around the
done.
house.
I would call him and say, hey, you know, my garbage disposal went out. I'm on the road. I've never put one in. Oh, hey, don't call somebody. I'll take care of it for you. And so he had a hell of a business.
Yeah.
And so guys that are like that
Yeah.
are the guys
Just
that are
get
going
it
to
done.
survive.
No, I mean, I agree. Like,
Exactly.
I just think,
Exactly.
I think there are a lot of people that get degrees just to get degrees, and you end up with people that have college degrees where it doesn't really get you a job.
Well, back when we
yeah.
were back
Just-
when we
oh
were
my
going to
God.
school,
Yeah.
it was 50-50. Nowadays, you go to a degree. I mean, you guys,
But-
you have a finance degree. You have an architect.
But
you
it's
guys
also,
have a
So
trade. You guys
yes.
skills that people
but it
want.
is also
So
like
you have a profitable
no, and,
degree.
it's just like it's like at the same time there are like advisors throughout high school and stuff that'll be like, oh, you have to go to college,
Yes.
right? Like to get a degree.
That's their push.
And it's like, you know, there are kids that are in lower level classes at our high school that have not very good GPAs, and that is okay.
Not even
you could-
lower level.
But what I'm saying is, you can take them to welding. You can take them there's so many trades that can get
Absolutely.
you
I mean, there is
Like
I'm
a good
serious.
living compared to.
trades. I mean, like,
Electrical.
I'm sorry.
No,
You
it's just.
can, you can.
Well, you marketed around between multiple, not marketed around, but you had done multiple trades before you ended up in the route you're on. You know, where you.
But that multiple trades is
brothel.
$1,000.
He did the brothel thing.
Multiple trades is $1,000.
Sorry, but the brothel thing.
He
that
fired all the girls.
That is you. You dropped that on me. I didn't know that. Wow.
Grandpa, you know. Well, yeah. So he broke the seal.
Hey,
No, you didn't. We're going. Herberts are done. But no, like multiple trades though, right? Instead of multiple like.
So I did
$1,000. You know?
So in high school,
yeah,
I did. I thought carpentry.
yeah, okay.
You know, build houses.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
me personally, my ass didn't like standing on a 2x6 on a second story,
Yep.
setting rafters.
Yep.
I'm like,
Yo, hell
I mean that's fair. I wouldn't want to sit on
I'm like 2x6. 2x6 is 5.5 inches.
that is
You
half
know,
of my
and that's
foot.
like-
That is half. That is less than half of my
I've
foot.
learned I'm not scared of heights. I'm scared of falling. So like I'm scared of ladders.
You know, I don't mind falling. It's the landing.
No, yeah. No, I mean that's fair. That's fair.
So it's the landing.
I'm
Yeah.
not scared of heights. I'm not scared of falling. It's the landing.
So it, you know, it's like, and then, you know, I was like, you know, I talked to my brother Tom, and it's like, you know, I was like, well, I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe HVAC,
Yeah.
heating, air conditioning,
HVAC,
ventilation.
Yeah.
I go, okay. So I lied and went and so my
just
first 3 months
ridiculous.
was in the summer.
You broke it?
And
I think I
I
might
was
have
on
to.
a roof during the summer, the roof of a hotel. So it's hotter than hell.
Yeah.
My next 3 months was during the winter at the airport where there's no, like, it's colder than shit. Winter. I'm like, God. And then my brother Tom was like, I'm opening an electrical business.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I went with him.
You want that open?
And that was 1899.
Hurt my
Or,
hand.
I'm sorry, 1989.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
been with him ever since.
So my oldest brother-in-law does HVAC systems.
Yep.
Cold
And he does. I
in
mean,
the
it's-
winter. and
But a lot
hot
of what
in
he
summer.
does, it's not.
It's
It's
cold.
mostly Kroger's, and they
So he does, like, a
do
lot
all
of
the chiller
refrigeration,
systems and
he does a lot of the
refrigeration for all
chillers.
the
But-
chain, not Kroger and
But again,
Target. And,
so like for that kind of stuff, right? Like he still makes good money. He never went to college, right?
no,
And for me, I do think it is crazy because it is like now it is 90% of probably 80% go to college. But it's like a lot of the inner city schools where it is still 50-50, right? They don't send kids to trade school. And it, for me, it's like they kind of just let them suffer and like just be done with high school. And it's like, for me, what I always think is, well, you could send them to trade school. They get a good trade. I mean, it doesn't mean they don't want to work hard. They don't have the opportunity to go to trade school. And if they heard the idea of trade school, like, oh, you can make 70, 80 grand being an electrician, being a plumber, you know, that to me makes a lot more sense than going to work at a fast food restaurant.
Right.
So it's just like, I don't know. I think personally, like trade school should be pushed more.
absolutely.
Wherever.
And industry should work with them.
Yeah,
And I really
yeah,
think
I
that
think
your
industry should work.
you know, unfortunately, I don't know if you guys
I
even
would
had
say
this
it's
in high
bad.
school. You gotta go again.
Yeah, how dare you?
It's bad. It's bad.
That's 3.
Two.
Oh, you went before we started. But
3 for the family. No, I'm just kidding.
That's about,
I
about to
think
make me
that,
pee.
you know, you guys don't have general.
I had to go because he went.
Sorry, I waited. But like general
I'm going
business.
after him.
Do you guys have like in high school? Do they have general business where you learn how to
No,
do
we
an
did
account
not.
balance?
Where is that?
Accounting? Or,
I did accounting.
Honestly,
like
I
general
did typing.
business.
I
did
did
type.
We
I did
barely
typing.
did writing a check.
Yeah.
Barely.
I
Do you
did
keep a
that.
balance a
Barely
ledger?
did
Do you
that.
figure out how to? Okay, I
mean,
balance
Mom
my
talked
checkbook.
about-
Do you know how to balance a checkbook?
Like
Yeah.
Mom talked about like people not knowing the difference between checking and savings. Like, that's
Yes.
a very real thing, you know, that people
Absolutely.
have no idea.
They have
the
no
concept of.
general business practice.
So my mom was in banking, Indiana National Bank.
So wait, did you ask about businesses in general? Like,
No, I'm just talking about
Here's
general
Take your
banking,
spot.
like doing
You want to take the command center? I mean, you can.
balancing a
This is the
checkbook.
command center.
Oh, I started a train.
everybody's gone.
I shouldn't say train.
No, in general, like, you're not taught any of those skills, the balance and charge. I mean, personally, the person that taught us economics was a mother of one of the quarterbacks for our football team. She didn't know nothing. She didn't know anything.
Oh, really?
But you guys didn't learn that.
but-
You didn't
okay,
learn how
fine,
to change a tire.
So
Did
the issue.
No, I learned on the job. My first job, the first job before Skyline, which credit to you because you were pretty much the reason I got hired at Skyline. I mean, it trickled from you.
Yeah.
But before that, I was at a used car lot. And
I had to say you were good. I had to say
well,
you were.
even on that job, my neighbor vouched for me.
Yeah.
And said, I knew my way around a car, which I didn't. And so the first day at the job, I had to change a tire. And I hadn't done that before. And I was 15. 16, maybe? But anyways, I was watching YouTube videos by myself in the garage, like, all right, gotta figure out how to change it. Then I was cranking the car up, and I figured it out. But
no, so
Yeah.
the issue with, like, for example, so he
Right.
wasn't actually in the industry of economics or finance. He might have taught.
Right.
He might have learned a class, but he never went anywhere with it.
right, he learned the idea.
Yeah.
See,
So
when I... Well, go ahead.
so for example,
And I don't
like,
have anything
the-
particularly wrong with him. I mean,
I'm not saying
but-
there's anything wrong with him. I'm just saying, like, you only learn
Maybe
so
the
much from somebody
curriculum.
who only.
Curriculum.
Well, see, my
took a
dad
class.
was a car mechanic, and basically, I would go out there because I would I like to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm mechanically inclined. I like
What
to
else
learn
you gonna
something. My
do?
dad would say, "No, you're too smart. You don't. I don't want you to work with your
Oh,
hands. You need to."
really?
And he would not show me shit.
Really?
And so when my kids came around, I'm like the girls. I would say, okay, this is how you change a tire. This is how you loosen lug nuts. This is what you do. You know, if you get an indicator on the car, this is what you need to do. And so, if anything happened, of course I fixed it. But it was like one of those things I tried to maintain the cars. And I didn't realize how I had failed as a parent until Liam went out to Valentine's
probably
Day
an
with.
exaggeration.
That was Valentine's Day. It was just
It was-
a cold night.
it was a dinner with Maya.
Valentine's Day.
Last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he called me. Well, he didn't even call me. He hit
Oh, I'm gonna love this.
Indiana
Yeah.
potholes,
Yeah.
which are ridiculous.
Oh, they're
He took her downtown to Indy.
monstrous.
He took her
It
to
was
downtown
amazing.
Indy, went to a nice dinner.
Took somebody else's
And I'm like,
tire out.
man, it's like 8 o'clock. It was his reservation. It was like 11:30 and he's not home. I'm like, I'm more, I'm not going to call him.
Yeah.
I'm all like,
It's
well,
Valentine's
he's
Day.
gotta
I
go
mean,
back.
It might be
And
busy.
so I saw a car coming up the street and the flashers were on. I'm like,
Yep.
oh crap. And so pulled into our driveway and he was dressed up in a suit and they were all, and so basically they hit a flat tire. They hit a pothole,
Yeah.
flattened their tires
On Troy.
on Troy.
Ooh.
And he tried to get the tire loose, and well, I've taken care of the cars forever,
Yeah.
so he didn't know how to change a tire, really.
Yep.
He really didn't.
Neither did I till my first day. I mean, I
changed
if
it
I
on the
wasn't thrown
highway.
into the ringer because I was getting paid, I wouldn't have known.
I mean,
not
shit,
because we hadn't, just because it hadn't. It's not like it comes up,
I
you
mean-
know.
I mean,
Well, and that may be my fault because
I
I made
feel the
sure
same way.
Bridget knew how to change a tire.
but
The boys,
but another thing.
Back
I
in the
made
day-
sure my daughter made.
Yeah.
But see,
But-
back in the day, I drove a car that I had to measure the gas with a yardstick. I had to stick it in the gas tank because we had a $35 car. You learned everything
Yeah.
about a car back then.
Yes.
Well, our kids have been spoiled.
Absolutely,
And so,
you
I hate
guys
to
have
say it.
spoiled us. That's the problem. You guys have
That's it.
spoiled
That's
us.
Because
a
we
real
were trying to
issue.
help you
That's a
guys
real
out.
issue.
We were trying to keep you guys from having the problems that we had.
Yeah.
So if we could help
No,
you,
we need to give our kids more problems. That's what it is.
I mean, it's good because we
Correct.
always thought. I mean, I always thought I was a good instructor because I changed tires on the highway. I mean, I used to change a tire on the highway. I'd blow a tire at 2 a.m. on the highway at 70 miles an hour, and I'm changing the tire beside the road, and I knew I can get it changed in like 8 minutes. And so Liam
8
called.
minutes.
Liam drove home in this
That's
way
impressive.
too much. Flat
I'm
tire.
sorry,
Like,
that's
what?
impressive.
I mean, it was like
That's impressive.
you got good at it when you drove shit tires.
I'm a while,
Yeah.
for sure.
You rode on those tires until they popped. You didn't replace them when
Yeah.
they were just
Yeah.
Oh,
they
they're
need to be
wheezing.
replaced here at 80%.
I had a guardian angel that really liked me.
Oh, my
So-
guardian angel's on overtime.
So when Liam drove
Overtime.
home that day, and I'm like, oh my God, I never taught you how to change a tire. So I said, did I show you that? And he said, no, we never did it. I'm like, okay, let's go out. And so the car was in the driveway, and the tire was flat. I mean, flat as a pancake.
Yep.
And I did not have, I had a pump, but I didn't have anything that would charge it. I'm like, I tell you what, follow behind me. I'll put the flashers on, because I tried to get the lug nuts loose. And because I've done such a good job of maintaining their cars, those lug nuts were locked on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the spare tire is a dummy tire that was
Yeah.
in there
A
so
donut.
long.
The donut.
They was so tight you couldn't get the thing freaking loose.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I don't want to embarrass you. I'm not trying to blame you, but
I don't care.
so anyways, we ended up going to the dealership.
Yeah, it's a shit.
And so I
show for
drove
sure.
through all these different,
It's not
like from our house to the dealership. I went through all the different shopping malls
Yeah.
to try and stay off the
Oh,
main
yeah.
road.
Behind the shopping mall.
Behind them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not in
And so I
front
got
of them.
there,
You-
and then finally I had to get on to
learn
31.
go
I had no
behind.
choice. I got on 31. We went up to the dealership, and I said, I can't bust this thing loose. I mean, it is locked on.
Yeah.
And the dealer said, you haven't used this thing, and this car is like 10 years old. You haven't even used the dummy. I'm like, well, that's because I've maintained the car so well. But
Yeah.
Indian
Because the
roads
tires have been
suck
good.
ass.
But I will
Suck ass.
I will say that pothole I hit also took out somebody in front of me, their tire
Oh, yeah.
out.
and I
it
can't
was-
believe he
I
drove.
love
He
it.
drove all the way from downtown Indy
Well, from Troy. Yeah, from Troy Avenue.
Troy.
to
Yeah.
Greenwood
Mm-hmm.
on
yeah.
a flat tire and
At
did not
least a
bend the
mile.
rim.
Yeah. Oh, it was more than a mile.
Yeah.
It was probably.
Oh,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
miles.
It's probably,
yeah.
it's probably 4
And
or
did
5.
not bend the rim. So when I took it to the dealership, I'm like, okay, I know
I
I'm
went
going to
20
buy
miles
2
an
grand.
hour.
Right, yeah.
He said, no, your rims are fine. I'm like, are you kidding me? This tire is flat. I mean, I'm talking.
Look at me.
There's
Like,
no
it's
air
like,
in
you
this
know,
tire flat.
And
know.
I drove perfectly. is
On
what
the
I mean.
sides,
So
you know.
he did commend you on that. But, you know, that's one of those things that, you know, every generation, you're going to do the same. Our generation, our parents were the kind of the teetering edge of both parents working.
Yeah.
Like my dad worked. My dad, the most he ever made in a year was $30,000 ever.
Oh, yeah.
10 kids.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I got from the Catholic Church. We got Thanksgiving dinner. We got. I mean, I got Pee Wee Herman shoes for Christmas. I mean, that's what I got. I mean, that's what you got, and you live with it, and everything's good. And you lived a good life. Everything was fine.
You didn't know.
But then my older sisters, because I'm number 7, my older sister is 10 years older than me. Well, at that point is where both parents were working. And the kids were fast food raised kids and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They weren't involved in the kids' activity, but they were doing that. With us,
But
it was
they,
like,
you know, like, not spoiled them, but they provided for sure.
they did what they could. I mean, but it was a different way of raising kids. And
Yeah.
when we, you know, I'm number 7. So for us, it was like we want to be involved. And so I was on school commission. I ran the fundraiser. I coached. Lisa did Girl Scouts. I did whatever I could do. And so we were involved on top of doing what we could do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we did is we shelter our kids from some of the things they should have learned. You don't learn in school general business. You don't know how to balance a checkbook. You don't know how to
Not even just balance a checkbook.
or manage money.
I think taxes.
Well,
Tax is a big one.
Yeah.
Because if anybody goes from high school straight to a job, they have to learn to do taxes.
I mean, for
We're
my
not
first
taught
job,
taxes.
and I'm sure you did the same thing. I worked at Wendy's. So when I would go from the baseball field and pitching to Wendy's and put my uniform over my baseball uniform. I would close at Wendy's, but I knew exactly to the penny how much tax was being taken out of my check. So when I got paid bi-weekly, I knew exactly how much I was making. Working 40 hours a week in high school, doing everything I had to do.
40 hours a week in high school
Absolutely.
is so much.
I never went to any
Don't
football games.
discount it. Anybody who ever listens, 40 hours a week in high school is a shit ton.
It sucks ass. But
That's a shit ton.
I did it.
And how much per hour?
$3.35 an hour.
Exactly.
And I closed.
That's how much I
I
made.
closed, and
Started.
I would go in the next day and open.
Yeah.
And I worked that job, and then when I came back after my freshman year, I worked 3 jobs. I worked 80 hours a week.
I
I
started
paid for
at
my
80 hours
Yeah,
a
I
week.
I had a
started-
Maverick that I paid $500 for, and I drove the Maverick.
I had a
Piece
Granada.
Of shit. Oh shit! Yeah. AMC baby. Mine was a 4-piece of shit.
$3.35 an hour. I started.
Life is good for you guys.
That's right.
How many?
Yo, absolutely. We
How many days
are
did you
the
practice
luxury
for
generation, and it's just
Oh,
got
I
worse.
practiced a lot.
every day?
Every
Do
day.
what? I'm sorry.
I was
He
just asking
was
how
asking
many
me
days
baseball.
practice.
Because I played a lot of travel baseball.
I'm so-
I was pretty good.
I'm sorry. I went to Tech. I didn't play sports.
But see, I played in. I
I
played.
was like,
But see, I went to.
get me out.
I played it. I was at Xenia High School, but I went to Catholic
It's
grade
Ohio.
school, and I went into Catholic or public high school. I didn't know. I didn't know
I
anybody.
went to Holy Cross and Tech.
Okay, so I didn't know
So,
anybody
yeah.
in public
Same thing.
except for the
Same
guys
thing.
I played
Public.
baseball with.
Right. Yeah.
And so when I went to public high school, I was voted MVP of the baseball team.
What high school?
Xenia.
I'm sorry.
Xenia.
Oh.
Suburb of Dayton.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so I grew up there, and it's
Very
it's a
nice.
great town and great people. But it was one of those towns that was more of a retirement community. So in Ohio, to pass money, like in Indiana, is so different. In Ohio, you have to pass a levy to be able to pay for whatever for the school system. In Indiana, whoever you vote for, it's in the. They basically approve the pools and all the shit.
Mm-hmm.
In Ohio, you don't have pools at high school. And in fact, my junior and senior year in high school, we lost bus service, so we had to commute to school. We had to figure out a way to get to school.
So kids were coming in tractors.
Absolutely, tractors, trucks,
Really?
whatever you could get to school, because they. Xenia is an
So,
elderly type
it's
community. It's
Suburbs
not-
plus country as well.
There's not a lot of industry there, so they don't have a lot of industry base. So to pay for the levies, it got put on the ballot every year, and it got turned down. Nobody would vote for a tax increase to pay for the school system. So my junior and senior year, you had to find a way to school. There was no choice.
Wow.
So we
Impressive.
we figured it out. We drove to school. So my sister and I, mom and dad had to buy. We bought a Maverick. I had a Maverick. My dad paid. He was an auto mechanic.
Yeah.
He paid like $500 for this Maverick. So my sister and I drove to high school every day in a Maverick. I bought it for my parents, and that's what I used my freshman year of college.
And then when you got to
Do you,
college, how much was the car that you bought? You bought another car.
You don't
in
wanna know.
Kentucky. It was like
$35.
$35.
$35.
Do you remember the Pacer?
Absolutely.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
My mom and
That
dad.
is the biggest fish tank you'd
Oh
ever
my
want to
God!
see. The whole hatchback of that thing was glass.
So, my mom and dad.
AMC
Pacer
I
was a
was like-
car.
Look at
Pacer was a
AMC.
car.
Look up AMC Pacer. You'll be amazed.
Yes.
So actually,
My mom and
Pacer's been named
dad,
after a Pacer
they
car.
went and they bought
Really?
a Pacer and brought it home, and I was like 14,
It's
and
cool.
I'm like,
Oh.
It's lovely.
ooh.
But you gotta look at the hatchback.
Yeah,
the hatch glass.
the Pacer.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
But that
Look at
looks
that
a
glass
lot
back.
better than my mom and
That
dad.
is sharp looking.
Yeah, that's clean.
It was
That's
silver
clean.
and it was used.
Look up a
So
silver
like it
Pacer.
was like they brought that home, and I'm like, because before the Pacer was the station wagon.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
See, and we had that a lot
Oh,
because
boy.
well, you had 4 siblings.
Look
I
at
had
this.
10. So we had a
I was
station
youngest
wagon
at
with
8.
10.
Oh yeah, he's so
You had how many?
I had 4 kids, but I was the youngest.
Oh,
of
you
8.
were 8.
Yeah, 8.
You were the
Nice.
baby of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you were
I'm the baby. And,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Kelly's the youngest of 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of first cousins.
Yeah.
For sure.
See,
Yeah.
my family, there were 10 of us. My dad had 12,
My
but
mom's one of 3.
they were adopted, so it was
Alright.
kind of, my dad, long story, I don't want to for your podcast, but
Basically,
basically,
I don't care.
Here's the editing.
there is a lot of
Yeah,
issues.
very minimal. Very minimal.
You might want to
an intro, dude. That's it.
But my dad
Well,
was.
Most things that are said they make it
See,
on.
back in the 50s,
99.9.
Yeah.
my dad was a teenager, and he had 3 older sisters. Well, they went to an orphanage in Ohio. Well, back then, the orphanages would rent their kids out to farmers and houses, and the girls
Really?
would do housekeeping. My dad and his
Really?
brothers did farming, and they would pay
money.
the
Really?
orphanage.
Yeah, I
So
was
my
like,
dad,
no
if you
money.
go to Cincinnati, Fields Erdel Road, you know Fields Erdel Road. It's up in Mason.
I'm
If you go up
familiar
71, Fields Erdel Road's right there. It's
Yeah.
all kinds of shit. Well, that was owned by it was a black farmer named Erdel. So my father was rented out to a black farmer named Erdel. Him and his brother would sit on the porch and drink lemonade, listen to the ball game, and my dad and his brother were rented out by the orphanage to make money for the orphanage. So my dad and his brother would run off,
Huh.
and they would get caught and taken back to the barn and whipped. And so that's how.
Wow.
Yeah,
So my
wow.
dad, eventually
Wow.
dropped out of high school.
So
He
we're
was,
talking like rough year.
I would say
You have 2?
50s,
50s?
early 50s, right around there. So
Wow. That's impressive.
that generation is different. I mean,
Yeah,
to say the
absolutely.
speak. So my dad was never. I mean, definitely he had racist tendencies for sure, because it was like, hey, I got beat by a black farmer from an orphanage. My dad was a piece of
how
shit
you grow
truck
up
driver.
indicates a lot of how you're just
Correct.
just your views the
Correct.
rest of your life. It's just
Correct.
gonna dictate your
But
views.
his
How you
his
were
whole thing
treated.
from when
yeah, how you were treated.
and again, my dad had there were definitely issues, no doubt. But one of the things that he instilled in me is his dad in his mind was a terrible father because he abandoned his family. He had 12 kids. They went in an orphanage.
All
The
12.
babies ended up getting adopted because he just never came back. So my dad's whole goal was, I'm going to be a father for my kids. So he had 10 kids. He was there. He was a father. He had 10 kids. That was his goal.
Yeah.
He never went back and got his GED. He
That's-
worked as a mechanic.
Yeah.
He did what he wanted to do.
Yeah, that is very admirable because it doesn't seem the most popular thing nowadays. I don't know
No.
why, but like family first, it doesn't seem like the most prevalent thing for some reason. Like I don't know
No,
why.
and again, I think that
It seems backwards.
I mean, I think that, truly, you guys are much more educated on, like my dad, he wanted to have 12 kids. That was what he wanted to have because he was from
really,
family of
he
12.
had
That's
a goal. of
wild.
That was
12?
their goal. They wanted to have 12 kids.
That is amazing.
But
I would
my
never want 12
mom
kids.
truly never worked outside the house until
How young did they start?
my dad, and again, this is really unique,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
my dad went into the military when he was, as soon as he possibly could, because
17
he basically
probably.
was an
18.
honor student, good athlete, but he wanted to get away because of
Yeah.
the whole situation. He was
Grandma,
in. So
Life.
as soon as he could, he got in the military, enlisted.
how old? 16?
Let's be honest.
17.
If
'Cause-
college
'cause
wasn't
my-
a route,
So
I was so eager to just experience something new that I
mine
probably
is-
would have just went into the military
Well, he
just
did.
to do
My-
something
my-
new.
mine
to be
is-
honest,
He met my...
just because it's
My-
something different. I
mine
don't
is
know. It's a
mine is
different place.
granddad
You know,
lied about his age.
if I could
so you go to
geographically
Korea.
relocate.
Well, my dad, when he went in, now I'll tell you about my grandpa and another, but he went into the military just to get a free physical, and he
Yeah.
ended up getting drafted for the World War II,
Oh my
just for a
Lord.
free physical. He worked at NCR in Dayton, but my dad, he went in, NCR in Dayton, National
Yeah.
Cash Register.
Yeah.
Big
Oh,
company.
okay,
And
yeah,
Dayton
yes,
bought all their
yes,
property.
Yes,
They're now in Atlanta.
Yes, they got bought by AT&T or whatever.
They just moved for a bit.
So my
yeah.
dad, his whole point was, he came back and he met my mom at a grocery store, and he was bagging groceries, and she came in and he met her for the first time, He was already enlisted, and he said, when I get out of boot camp, I want to call you, and we're going to get married. I said, okay. So they wrote letters. He went into boot camp. He came back.
Yeah.
Wow.
They got married, and they moved to Washington. They had never met other than at the grocery store.
That is amazing.
And then from there,
That
they
is
had 10
wild.
kids.
Could
And
never.
Impressive.
so my dad was,
Wow.
you never got to meet him, of
No,
course.
he died 8
But
years before I was
fantastic. I mean, he was, but, at the point that,
Impressive.
I wanted to be part of my kid's life, I'm sure as you do. My dad was, at that point, when I was born, I was number 7. I was the first son, and he really wanted me to play sports,
Really?
and I was pretty good. But he, at that point, he was,
Number 7.
I mean, he was old. He was older. And,
My
he-
dad
and
gave
he
up
worked
on me
a
in
hard
sports.
He worked a hard life. I mean,
Yeah,
he
that's
didn't.
wonderful.
He, so he was fantastic. So.
I mean, he was 0 for 6 with having
Girls.
guys. You
Yes.
know, like,
I mean, you got to quit at some point in
that's
time.
amazing. That's
But-
like honestly, like modern couples or whatever, most families now don't have 6 or 7 kids.
No.
If we're being honest,
But
right?
again,
Like,
truly,
they
I mean,
don't.
To be honest,
that's
that's
why
shouldn't.
the Reds are so near and dear to my
Shouldn't
heart.
that's
Well, just
That's
money
my dad's
wise.
thing.
Money wise.
Right. Yes. Yes.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna draw attention to this.
That, I mean, 6 kids. That's a lot of money. Now.
He said, well,
Shouldn't.
honestly, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
When I said they have 6 or 7 kids,
I mean,
shouldn't have 6 or 7. No,
That's
I'm kind of all
that's
for
all.
the like.
Just keep going.
Yeah,
having
but
them.
what I'm saying is
I'm
that
all
is a,
for it.
but
All right.
What I'm saying is
I'm
that,
all
that
for
is a lot of money.
Absolutely. Is
Well-
that too much? Is the money that much of a deterrent?
Yeah, like each kid.
That's how it's perceived
And
now.
I hate to say it,
But each kid, they've like done like stats and stuff. It's like each kid is about $1 million right now.
Well, it's not.
Well,
it's
like
not,
not
so
up
much
front,
that.
right?
But
No,
from
but
our
over
standpoint,
time.
my dad's standpoint, it was like, truly, I could look him in the eye, and he would be like, you know what, you need to focus on your studies. Don't come out here in the garage. So he would do brake jobs and stuff in the garage. He refused to show me anything because he's like, I have 6 girls, or your brothers. Out of all of my siblings, 3 of them went in the military,
Yep.
Navy. The rest of them, my sisters, all my older sisters except for one, got married. My brothers, 2 of them went in the military, and one of them was 16 when my dad passed away. So he really hadn't gotten to that point. But my dad was very much, even though he couldn't afford it, it was just like he was very supportive.
So
and
family
very
oriented.
supportive. It was very
Supportive.
much into family, kids, and I'm not to say my dad was, by no means, he wasn't like a saint. I mean,
And nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
No.
my 10th birthday, and I've told the boys this, my 10th birthday,
Oh, this
I
is
got
gonna be good. This is gonna be good.
I got 2 cups of beer and a Matchbox car at 10.
Nice.
That was my gift. My dad had a beer stein. They had a beer stein in the house. Beer was always around all the time.
How old were you when you learned how to pour from a can?
Oh, I was 8
Eight?
years old.
I think
I
I
can
was
remember.
6.
I remember when I was 6, and at the time they didn't have like you go to like a local in Xenia. There was a place called Nick's at the time. I think.
Also, another thing with Ohio that's different for a lot of people is Ohio has a lot of drive-through,
Yes.
like
Liquor
Liquor
Yeah.
store.
Yeah.
which is
Absolutely.
very
Yeah.
very weird for anybody out of state.
There are you drive
I
through.
mean, it was I'm like mind blowing
What?
to me.
For anybody
I was going to college like
For
5
anybody
years ago.
listening,
It was
Cold
mind
beer,
blowing.
drive through.
For anybody
You get a
listening,
case
I
of
could
beer,
drive
all
through-
liquor, whatever you want,
We don't have
Drive
to
through
get out
case
of our
of beer.
car and we can get
and
alcohol.
it's cold.
but and
It
it's
is
cold.
cold.
But
It's ready to
for anybody
consume.
listening, I
We're
felt like that
still
was
in our car.
important.
When I
It
was
an
6,
important,
maybe 8 years old, my dad used to go to get growlers, which they have in Indiana at certain places.
They do.
Oh,
They
but
still-
It
they
was,
still
it was
have
this little beer place.
I've tasted them.
It was this
I'm
beer
not
place.
gonna lie.
Oh,
This
that's
past
awesome.
weekend, I took down a growler.
So this little place in Xenia at the time,
8+.
while they were pouring your growler and they were making the foam go off and all that stuff, you'd sit there with your dad, my grandpa, and they would serve beer.
No,
So I would
yeah.
get a sip of beer, and they would drink a beer. I was 6.
Also, weird thing about Indiana laws is the whole bar.
Bar and restaurant thing.
So,
It's
like,
crazy.
I mean, you've been in Ohio for a while, but like the whole idea of the bar being enclosed
Separate.
and nobody being below 21 can be in there,
Yeah.
even if they're like 3 years old. When you know they're not going to be.
Not only
drinking.
that,
Yeah.
when we first moved to Indiana,
There's not
before
much-
you were here,
Yeah.
when the girls were here, we would go to a restaurant, and I was like, I would want to order a beer at noon.
Yeah.
After
On
one
Sunday,
after
right?
church. No, we don't serve beer on Sunday. What? What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's you don't serve. No, we don't serve it at all. And then finally, it was like, well, we'll serve it after 1 o'clock. We'll serve beer.
Okay, I guess.
What? Okay, you're serving beer now. The grocery store, like you could go in the grocery store and buy.
Well, I mean, they just
Beer.
legalized that in 2020.
Oh, period. I mean, you couldn't. The liquor stores are closed; they're state owned. It's totally different in Ohio.
Yeah.
In Ohio,
Yeah,
it
drive
blew
through.
my mind. I mean, we could drive through somewhere and get a
In a
pizza
barn.
and 12-pack, 18-pack. We could get a whole.
Well, in Kentucky,
case?
because I travel all over the place. In Kentucky, you can actually go into a gas station, and they will serve you single servings. You can go in there and buy a big tall boy if you want to, and sit there and sit in the.
Wow.
They have a little area behind. You can go get a beer and have 3 or 4 if you want to.
So
Before you get in your car.
We
There we
went
go.
to a gas station called in Kentucky Hillbillies.
Yes,
I was like,
it's everywhere.
Hillbillies,
Everywhere,
really?
unless you go down to like Cumberland, and you go down to that area where they don't serve any liquor. So if you want to go down to Cumberland and rent a houseboat,
Yeah.
as soon as you hit south of Richmond, it's dry. But in Richmond's a dry or wet county, so you
Right.
can buy cases of beer. So like people from Ohio would rent a houseboat in Cumberland, and they would get a trailer to pull all their liquor because you
That
can't buy
makes sense.
anything from Richmond south.
trailer.
But
Oh
Hillbillies.
yeah, fill it up with cat. My dad, my mom and dad can drink beer now. I'm telling you, they can
Oh,
I
drink.
God.
figure I can hold my
It's-
own, but I've
they-
never required
oh,
a trailer.
They would get like 30 cases of beer.
The
per
can
week.
doesn't hit their lips. It's like
Oh,
it's
hell
like
no.
Oh my lord!
Between drinking, smoking, it was.
Oh, they're
oh,
just
yeah,
constant.
Stop.
it's like it's like magical.
Absolutely. And I truly never
Wow.
forget it. I told Liam 10. I think it was 10. But my birthday, timing's bad, but I can remember my dad came home from work. He met me in the driveway, gave me a Matchbox car. We went in. He was a big Reds fan. He would come in, take a shower. We'd go out and sit at the picnic table. We had a keganator. We had a keg.
Keganator.
Oh, we had a keg
Ooh.
in the fridge. My dad would come home, and the whole deal was he'd come home, grab a beer, go sit outside, smoke cigarettes, listen to the Reds game on the radio. We did that every night. So he's a big
Impressive.
every night, every
That's
single
why
night.
people are baseball fans.
Yeah, I mean you do it with your dad.
Because there's 180 games. That's why.
Well,
150,
160,
yeah,
but it was all about history. 162 if you're really
162.
Why? It's
But
not
it's all
every
about
Sunday.
history. It's your dad. You know, that's what your dad
That's
did. Because
right.
my dad would
Yeah.
sit out there, and seriously, my mom and dad
That's the-
smoked 3 packs a day, Pall Mall. And they would drink beer.
Oh, they
Unfiltered.
Non-stop, unfiltered. Absolutely.
Or yeah.
What does that
I'm
mean?
sorry.
He
Unfiltered.
used to
no filter on the
he
end of
used
the
to
Does
blow-
that mean
It's
they
just
bought it
tobacco.
straight
when
tobacco.
when they would buy
He
them?
used to blow
did
them
they
up.
not have a filter?
Like Lucky
No, if you look
Strikes,
at them,
Pall
the
Mall.
cigarettes have like that little
Little
funny-
funnies.
bottom part,
No,
the
no.
white part, right?
Pall Mall unfiltered were red packs, no filter on them.
Yes.
No filter.
And he would smoke
Nice.
3 packs a day.
They used to blow. He
When
used
my
to blow
dad
'em up.
passed away,
God bless.
I love him to death. But basically, he had $1 in his wallet, and it was to buy a coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what he would do. That was his lunch. He would have a coffee, work all day,
Cigarettes.
smoke cigarettes. He would have
Yes.
3 packs in his car.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that was the life back then.
That was yeah.
Well, they had been smoking since
Yeah.
they were like what, 14, 13.
Yes.
Ugh,
13,
why didn't
14.
you start me that young? No, I'm just kidding.
But
Well, I mean, Uncle Tom.
and it's
I mean, he was like
Oh yeah.
so. He hid his cigarettes
Mhm.
with with a string.
Oh,
down, like in a chase and stuff. It's like
He dropped them behind the wall.
oh yeah, with the string. Yeah.
So
I'm like 13.
I mean, we grew up with. I mean,
what's
seriously,
crazy is-
my family would have the windows up in the car, and
Oh, yeah.
when I went off to college, I mean, I hated smoke. I hate smoke. Because my mom and dad would wake up, and my dad would wake up coughing because he
Cigarettes.
smoked 3 packs a day for 40 years. I mean,
Yeah, that's how you're gonna
and
wake
so
up.
I hated the smell. So when I went off to college, I'm like, man, this is what fresh air is like. I mean, I've never experienced fresh air, truly. And so when we went off to college, I would leave my clothes in the car, and I would go out, get my clothes, take a shower, go back to the car. But I'd leave all my clean clothes in the car and change. And that's,
Wow.
I mean, I've never bought. My mom and dad would, like, my siblings would run out and get, I would never buy cigarettes because I'm like, I would come back with college and I would have all this paraphernalia, like, this is really bad for you. You need to quit smoking. This is bad for you.
Yeah.
This is bad for you. This is bad for you. And my dad died of a
for
massive
sure.
heart attack in his sleep at 54. Well,
Wow.
That's my age.
to be fair,
exactly.
To be fair,
I made it past my dad. I'm feeling pretty good.
I was to be fair. Grandma
Hey, well
lived
done.
to her 90s, and she had been smoking.
Well, no, Grandma was 82.
82.
Yeah. But she,
To be fair,
she had Alzheimer's the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's
And
rough.
so we've dealt with that, but the reason, part of it is she forgot the pleasure that she had with smoking.
which was nice.
So when you have Alzheimer's,
Wow.
Yeah.
she used
It
to
was
smoke
nice.
like a lot. Well, they would
Some
buy cases
benefits
of,
you don't see for
yeah,
sure.
she would pack. They would buy cases of cigarettes, Pall Mall. They would put it in the freezer because to keep the tobacco fresh or whatever.
Yeah,
And
probably.
she really
yeah.
forgot why she smoked. I'm like,
Anything.
okay, so
Bread.
something's wrong
Mhm.
because, I mean, she's used to.
Well, the first time I
Wow,
realized she
that's
did,
interesting.
the first time I realized that she's struggling was when we were at our house because she started coming to Indy, which
I'd bring her over.
which she hadn't done for a while, but she came over and we played euchre, and like euchre for her like was easy, right? Like
Very
she
good.
she
Very
always
good
she,
Catholic.
she
Oh, gotta love you.
she had
You don't know how to play euchre. You're in
Oh,
trouble.
that's an Indiana Catholic.
well,
It's a
and
Catholic-
Ohio, it's a Catholic thing. Like
We played
like
euchre from the time we were 10.
yeah, so like
Yeah.
she
Yeah, that's
she
true.
had
Me
she
too.
had a separate rule that a lot of people don't have. It's ace no face.
Ace,
There's
no
one
face.
ace.
What is?
Ace, if you had ace and no face cards, you could throw the hand in.
Yeah,
Everybody
ace,
has
no
to throw their
face.
hand in. Ace, no
Ace,
face.
no face.
That was a
I've
Herbert
never
rule.
Nines
heard
and
that.
tens.
Nines and tens and
an
one
ace,
ace.
throw your
One
hand
ace.
in.
Well,
One
I
ace.
heard 9s and 10s.
One ace.
Ace-
Right.
Yeah,
I've
if you
heard
had one
four
ace,
nines.
ace, no face.
If you
Throw
have
it
4
in.
9s and 10s,
Four
that's
nine,
enough.
4 9s and tens and one ace.
But
So
we
ace no
never
face.
played that. It was just hard.
But-
It was just,
Yeah.
but-
It's like
you
you're
just sucked
screwed.
that hand.
Yeah,
that's the
but
same.
we were sitting there. I remember, and we were on the deck and stuff, and she couldn't remember what was suit. So then, like, she kept asking questions and like asking what suit was, and she'd play the wrong suit, and it's just like, that was how I knew because it was like that wasn't how she had been.
Well,
before.
she had tried to quit smoking several times. She tried to patch. She tried all kinds of stuff. But the biggest teller for me was we were on the deck, and behind our house there are like 3 houses, and they have pools. There were pools at all 3 houses. And so the one behind us put a fence up right behind the pool.
I got him. I'm proud of over.
And they have no, I'm good.
Okay.
And so they had posts up, and she was like, she thought for sure
Almost done. I can
that
tell.
they had they were like ghosts. And like we had flower pots on our deck, and she thought that they were like little girls dressed in
Nice
white
and
dresses. And I'm like,
Yeah,
Mom,
I got my fridge.
what are you seeing?
Yeah.
What are you seeing? I don't get it. And so she told me, and at that time, I have 6 sisters that live, all of them within like 5 miles of my mom.
Okay.
And of course, we live in Indiana. This is all over in Ohio. I have a brother that lives close. One lives in Cincinnati. One is in Virginia. So I told my sisters, I said, something's not right. I mean, she is really
Struggling.
She was saying things. She was freaking out.
You can tell she's different.
Something's wrong. I'm worried about her.
Well,
And
especially for you from being on the outside, because a lot of them are there all the time, so you don't see the difference like every other day,
Yeah,
right?
Well,
Day
they
to
just
day
look
is
at it
a
like,
little
oh no, she
different.
just makes comments. I'm like, no,
But
no.
but like
Yeah.
when you see her every other month, like you start seeing differences. And the same thing with my grandparents.
Well, and the first thing
now,
I said
on
was
my dad, on my mom's
the
side.
obvious thing was she doesn't even want to smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, when Natalie was born, we had her
Yeah.
first communion.
Yeah.
Lisa and I had a small little house in Cincinnati, and we had put no smoking signs up in our house because we don't smoke. We have a new baby, no smoking in our house. My dad
Yeah.
and mom, respectful, they were like, "Oh, it's a beautiful day." Well, they didn't say anything. They just went right outside to the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
beautiful
sisters
day. We'll do
raised
it
all
outside.
kinds of shit. Like, "Oh, how could you do that to your mom and dad?" They're not complaining. They're fine with it.
Yeah.
So when she came to our house and she was not smoking, no interest in it, I'm like, "Mom, are you okay?" We went to downtown. We did a bunch of stuff, but the key was she started seeing
Really?
visions, and it was scaring her. And I'm like, so I was like, the last 5 years, my sisters did. They were amazing. I mean, truly,
Yeah.
they were amazing, because I'm like, I can
Five
do
of the six.
weekends. I travel a lot, so I can do weekends. But you guys are going to be the day-to-day care.
Yeah.
And Ohio does a fantastic job with Center for Aging. So she, had Alzheimer's, and so they would take her to like an adult daycare kind of thing during the day.
Okay.
They'd drop her off. They would give her like tasks, and she would like do laundry or whatever. And then for the weekends, my brothers and I would kind of share time. So like, she would come stay with me, and you just try to keep her distracted. The hardest part, I would never argue. I mean, and my mom would say, she sees 3 ghosts. Oh, I see them. Yeah, that scares me, Mom. And then a couple of my sisters were like, "Oh, come on, Mom. Snap out of it. That's not there." Well, they see it. It's real to them. You need to just accept that this is not
that's
good.
Wild. I don't know what
I mean,
I'd do
my mom
there.
is very smart.
Well,
I'd entertain it because I
and
just want to know.
It's tough.
Supposedly
It's tough.
with
Yeah, that's
Alzheimer's,
That's hard.
you're supposed to see the signs like 30 years before it actually happens.
30?
Yeah, 20,
30?
20 to
Holy
30.
shit.
Come on now.
That's
No,
impossible.
I'm not even kidding. Like,
All right, but
I'm
what
sorry,
is
I'm
the
probably-
sign?
I got it.
I'm like
You there?
25 in.
But what are the signs 30 years
Well,
later?
what
It's
is it?
supposed to be?
But it's supposed to be like forgetfulness and all that, which is hard.
Oh,
right, but I got it now.
All right, but my pee.
Well, what I'm saying is,
5 minutes
I'm like,
from now.
yeah.
what I'm saying is that's very hard to put down. But like,
Right, so I have Alzheimer's.
no. But like doctors are supposed to like prescribe it and figure it out 25 years
There's
before.
no way they
No
can
way.
anticipate.
No,
That's
I
terrible.
promise you.
30 years?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a crazy amount of time before to
So-
stop it from like progressing.
All right,
Like,
all right,
like,
just tell me
right now.
I am telling you as well.
All right.
Say it. Say it.
Are you
say
saying-
It,
I'm
say
just saying,
it. Say
5
it.
years beforehand,
No.
my mom.
I'm not-
She could
not-
take
Wait,
5
wait,
nickels.
wait.
She could rub 5 nickels together. She raised 10 kids
I'm not
on
disagreeing.
no money
What?
and was able to balance the budget. And her credit score was higher than any of us have in this room.
Yeah.
With my dad making a maximum of $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
I mean, she had $150,000 in
That's
credit card
amazing.
debt or credit cards when she died. How do you get that kind of credit and your maximum income was over $30,000?
Sorry, not 25 or 30, 10 or 15 years before Alzheimer's.
That's still
Yeah,
really
but still.
hard
No,
to imagine.
I'm not disagreeing with that statement.
Well, be
I'm just
prepared then, because I got memory
So
loss.
we're like,
on it.
yeah,
no,
yeah. You,
no, but what
I drool
Yeah,
all
what
the
are
time.
supposed to be the sign? Like, what are supposed to be the signs?
So-
15
so
years
it's like-
ahead?
like your mom and my mom, like Alzheimer's got it.
It's a brutal. My dad died of a massive heart attack in his sleep, very young. I want to go that way.
No, keep on.
But I want to go that way at 85. When
85.
well, I'm hoping.
Well, okay, yeah.
If
oh,
85 is good, at that
I'm
point
going
I've
for
lived a
triple
pretty good
digits.
life.
I'm with you.
At that
If
point
I
I've lived a good life. If I get to
If
85 and I have a massive heart attack myself,
Like, yeah.
good for me.
And into my
But-
sleep,
But-
yeah.
Right, but my mom died at 82,
Yeah.
and the last 5 years she didn't even know what was going on.
And your
my dad died in a massive heart attack in his sleep. It was like boom, gone, done. That's way too young. I've passed that age.
Yeah.
So,
but I didn't smoke. I'm heavier than my dad ever was.
So I mean, the issue.
A little bit.
The issue
Well,
is.
we're modern.
I mean,
That's modern.
the issue is it is supposed to be 10 to 15 years before, but a lot of it is like basic forgetfulness. So it's like, for example, if grandma forgot something, right, you would all be like, oh, she's just getting older, right? But the issue is you're supposed to catch that then.
No, catch me.
But no, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying like that is the thing now is like it's actually 10 to 15 years of.
That's
What do you say?
hard.
No,
What's the thing?
I
What's
agree.
the
No,
thing?
it literally is memory loss and basic forgetfulness.
So you're
I mean, like,
supposed to
come on, like
identify that?
Sam.
Yes.
I mean,
Hey, Sam.
I'm not disagreeing
Hey,
that isn't
hey,
hard.
Sam.
I'm not disagreeing that it isn't
I'm
really
saying that's
hard.
impractical and not realistic.
No, I'm not saying it is realistic. I'm saying that is what like the doctors say now is that it actually starts happening 10 to 15 years.
It
I'm
might.
sure you
I mean, there's
so
definitely times
songs.
where like I'm sitting there talking about the Bengals,
and I'm not.
and I'm a Bengal diehard, but a lot of times Liam will.
You're like, hey,
corroborate
what
this.
is that?
I'm
What's
like, that player that
Yeah.
tight end is really good. I know, but I don't remember the name.
But
No,
I don't think
I've
I
never
don't think
been
it's
good at
that. I think
names.
it's like forgetting memories, right? So like if you were talking to like grandma, for example,
It
right,
seems like
about
just
some
aging.
no, but that's the thing is like a lot of people that age do get Alzheimer's in general. So it's hard. It's hard for you to be like, oh, that's just aging versus oh, that's a sign of Alzheimer's. I'm not saying that's
You
impossible.
pee 3 times.
Yeah,
You? Once.
I'm on one.
I'm breaking number 2.
but
That makes me feel good.
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm old. And I got a lot of. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
When
I'm
this,
sorry.
when this blubber hits on that ladder.
Gotta go. Honestly, the only time I went the first time is because you went.
I'm sorry.
And I had to
But-
go.
no,
It was like, oh.
But no, I'm not disagreeing. That is almost impossible to figure out, right? Like that's
Yeah, it seems
that's a
impossible.
ridiculous impossibility.
You know what? The other thing I was thinking about bringing up, but I didn't, was there is hyper-realistic video games being developed.
Yeah,
Like
10,000.
hyper-real.
1,000%.
Indistinguishable. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You put on a VR headset,
Yep.
and it is indistinguishable from reality.
Rick and Morty did something about that too.
And it, that
They did.
is
They did.
that
They
is
did.
terrifying, honestly. Like, it is so concerning. And I love games, and I love AI and all that shit.
I mean,
But,
where did you think that was all gonna go at some point?
No,
Though?
but
you knew that was gonna go into gaming.
Well, for sure, but that also just relates to the whole debate about like reality being a
Like not actually a thing.
simulation,
Yeah.
essentially, right? And this is because if we can simulate reality, who's to say that reality isn't a simulation?
Yeah.
So like I saw footage of a video game that looked so realistic it looked like a cop's body cam. And it's so concerning. Oh my god.
I mean personally with that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah,
that
because
was-
that's like so near in the future,
No,
to be honest.
I mean, it definitely
This
was.
is a whole
it
different-
definitely was.
What I
gonna-
miss?
No, it's just about video games becoming
ultra
realistic.
realistic video games. Video games that are indistinguishable
From
from
real life.
reality.
I'm just
essentially.
telling you, and I'm not going to be a doomsayer. I really am hopeful that we have screwed up enough. We've had our,
Right.
we've done ours, we've done our thing. We've screwed
man.
up. I'm really hoping that I'm tired of old fucking white men fucking up shit.
But I mean,
Yeah.
It's time for
that's my.
your generation to take over and us to.
But that's my issue
Oh,
is with
man.
senators and for example.
I feel like your mindset, just not the white part,
Well,
but
I'm
the
just saying.
mindset
Well,
that the new generation should take reins will forever be the thing.
I mean, I think there's
But-
time.
but-
you
but
guys know
You would hope
we're old
you would,
school.
you would hope that's the reins.
Technology is evolving so
But-
quickly.
but
Is the thing.
and we don't know what to do.
But the thing is, politically, right? A lot of these politicians are in there for life, like that.
Absolutely.
And
that needs to change.
No, and it does. Like, for example, right? Senators, and they put this in at the beginning of everything. Senators could run as many times as they wanted, as long as they win, they get it. And governors, for example, like in Indiana, they can win for 8 years. They have to take 1 4-year election off, and then they come back.
Okay, I got to ask you. Now, he's just talking about this. If you could run for whatever it is, county seat, senator, representative,
I'm going
and
for
you
president.
get benefits for life and a guaranteed salary for the rest of your life,
Okay.
would you do it?
No. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Would you? I mean, fuck.
I mean, I'm right now.
You
hell
cannot
yeah, I'm going
guarantee
next
that
year.
bullshit.
But I'm not.
I'll vote for life.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm saying the issue is, since you're saying, oh, we should take over. The issue is, a lot of times with politics, it's always, oh, this person's been in there for 20 years. That doesn't mean they know what they're doing.
No.
But they've been there for 20 years. It's very hard to take a seat from somebody that's been there forever.
It's not that hard if you look at what they do. If people would actually look
But-
at what
but-
they
but you're
what
so
they do.
little
but
that
you're saying
actually
something.
happens.
But,
Let's be honest.
But you're
What
saying
actually
something. You're saying
evolves?
something that changes voters.
Oh.
I'm just saying
That
It's
doesn't-
my turn again.
No, but
Sorry, I started a trend. I told you.
but you're
I'm a
talking about
trendsetter.
you're talking about changing voters' ideas, right? Like that would be great if voters always looked at things that were happening, and that's just not the case. Like, for example, on the south side of Indiana, right, the one lady that runs the state rep, right, she is one of the people in the House of Representatives. One, I think I'm smarter than her. I could beat her for that race. But I'd be running Democrat. She'd be running Republican. There's going to be people that just vote House lines. It doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't.
Well,
it doesn't
and
matter
I
what
go even
I like.
smaller
I could.
school.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, I could say straight up like, oh, I've lived here all my life. Like, I want to make this county better, right? No matter what I say, that doesn't get told to everybody. So then she wins because she's Republican and I'm a Democrat.
Well, I'm just saying.
Here's
Here's my
not
take on just. I mean, again, I am a very small pebble in the.
No, I get that.
And so when I look at Greenwood, for instance, the mayor of Greenwood.
Yep.
And so the guy that is the mayor of Greenwood currently.
Yep.
We have 2 parks in the top 10 in the state of Indiana.
Yep.
We've got industry that's growing. We've got development that's going on. Things have improved in Greenwood.
No,
and so the Greenwood mayor, I would vote for.
No, and
The guy that's running
he's
against him is saying, "Oh God, there's a lot of things that he's done."
But
I'm like,
for example,
I'm going to vote Republican. He's a Republican.
No, but for example,
I like it.
For example, the mayors, right? It is Republican versus Republican in there. At Greenwood mayors, it's red versus red, and so his argument is always like, "Oh, I am a better Republican than he is."
Well, the guy's running against him is saying that we.
No, I
he
agree.
is in Center Grove area.
I know.
And Mark Myers is a Greenwood guy, but he has like increased our revenue and all this stuff.
But
the guy that's running from Center Grove is actually declared bankruptcy, tax evasion, all this stuff.
I'm not.
And it's like he's opposing the mayor, and it's like you're opposing. I mean, right now, you guys live in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
So Greenwood right now, if you look up park systems, grandkids, what's near and dear to my heart, our property taxes have gone down, our park systems have improved, they've got development, there's apartment complexes coming in, there's new restaurants coming in, there's development. It's like, okay, from our standpoint, Greenwood is actually growing.
What I'm saying is, like, I would vote for that Republican mayor that's in office. Mm-hmm. The issue is, like, for state reps, right? Like, for people that are in House Representatives, it's every 2 years. It doesn't matter if it's Republican versus Democrat or what they promise they're gonna do. but it doesn't promise what they're gonna do or what they've done, right? Like you can't argue against.
Still on.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to really edit this shit out.
No, he's not gonna edit anything.
Yeah. He's on to something there
Yeah.
because I don't edit shit. I don't do anything.
Why don't we get like 5 more people?
We put the intro in before the outro, and that's about it. Like we put the intro in at the beginning, and that's at the end.
You know what's crazy? Like
not in a bad way.
I live at home right now, so I'm a freeloader. But
You're not.
I'm not because I try, and I moved back from New York this past year, so I'm trying. I'm evolving a decent amount. I'm trying to.
I will say that's
phase.
something your generation was told not to do, right? Was not to come back and live at home.
Well, you got to remember.
No, I'm.
It's different. Like when I was.
I'm not saying.
I graduated from high school in 17.
Okay.
I came home and everything I owned was in a
84, right?
In 85.
Yeah, 85.
I came back and everything I owned was in a Xerox box in the garage. I could stay there. I could live, but I had to sleep on the floor in the living room with a blanket and a pillow. That was it. And so I had already paid my own car. I mean, I was living on my own.
Both people sitting on the couch had siblings, like
no,
9, 8, 10.
Yeah.
You know,
but I have a lot of hope.
A lot of siblings.
I'm not saying that's an issue. I'm just saying is when you are one of that many, you're told not to come back, right? Like you're told to make your own, make your own life. Like you don't come back without living a good life.
You're on your own.
You're on your own.
You're right. You have to make your own path.
But it's like at this point, even with college degrees, even when you have the basis to live a good life, you almost need a couple of years back at home to save money to go live that good life.
No, but I'm
not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not.
I think that you guys.
Just a difference.
I feel just from talking to you guys and talking to you.
Yeah.
You and I have definitely different opinions on
probably a lot of things.
Right. But I am not against taxation for good purposes.
No.
I look at small businesses and truly, I think I've thrown that out. The money that I pay is absolutely ridiculous. Versus when somebody makes $1 million, they pay $500 in taxes, and I make half that, and I pay $300,000.
Again, this goes back.
No,
this goes.
I'm gonna raise questions.
That's not fair.
This goes back to my argument though with Evan about how I say they shouldn't be billionaires. Is you actually benefit the small businesses. A lot of the money from
you don't see the benefit of capitalism though.
No, I.
As a small business owner, I'm not complaining.
What I'm saying,
I am complaining about how much I pay, but I think overall, as a small business owner, I should be doing better than what I am. I should not be sacrificing because I'm not getting the benefit of any deduction to put my kids through, not Princeton, Harvard, or Yale. I'm talking University of Dayton and Purdue, but yet that's all 100% out of pocket because we are white. And we pay for.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying.
I think he's talking at a different scale than you're talking.
No,
I don't know.
No. So here. This is what I'm saying. I take from that, right? So, it is on a bigger scale. But what I say is I think a lot of small business owners take a lot of taxes. They spend a lot of money on taxes.
They support this country.
No, and they do. I'm not disagreeing with that. But there are billionaires, again, that don't pay a lot of taxes. Correct. And if we had just, for example, if we talk to billionaires and be like, okay, where do you want your taxes to go? We will put the taxes into that. It would almost be better. Because, I feel like a lot of people, right, your money gets taken to taxes. You have no idea where your money goes. No idea. Even at a smaller level. For example, I paid even $400 in taxes. I don't know where my money goes. I don't know where it goes.
You had to pay this year?
Yeah, of course. I always pay.
Man, I did not.
Because I put money into
Felt good. I got 3 returns.
I put.
That's great.
I got to file for Ohio, Indiana, and Why the hell do I have to file
But
two different states?
I put money.
Two
I
separate
put money into Roth IRAs.
Hey,
so I don't.
federal,
I pay
New
taxes.
York State, and Indiana State.
But
And they all gave me money. And I was
but
very appreciative to all of them.
but my issue is right. My money goes into taxes. I don't know where it goes.
Right.
I would rather be like, oh,
And there's still potholes you encounter.
yeah, but it's like
everywhere.
But it's like
Yeah.
I'd rather be like, oh, I want my money to go to parks. I want my money to go wherever.
But if you
The fact that there are millions of dollars of taxes that are supposed to come from billionaires that do
So
not
would
go
you like to
anywhere.
personally allocate where your taxes
I think
go?
if
I would-
truly,
I would love-
I think if they did a flat tax,
What you get a water?
you got another bottle.
Water.
He brought another bottle of
I,
love.
I would love.
What is it? Oh, we are double dipping.
No,
I would be flat ecstatic.
But what I'm saying is, I would love. Like I work.
Where did you pull that out?
Yo, you
went to the-
hustled for that.
It went there.
No
hustled.
way.
Nice.
No way.
I went.
You're ridiculous.
Yeah.
You
He
know
is
that?
ridiculous.
I'm gonna have to pee again before we go. Again.
No, hold on. We haven't drank.
I'm gonna take a
Thank you.
shot between.
Thank you. To my dad.
Wow,
my dad, for
I didn't
sure.
realize I was going to be at
Welcome.
at the mercy of a
say
god.
Uber? Yeah. Uber's very real. It's
Yeah,
very
it's
real.
very
It's very
real.
much alive.
At least
But-
Honestly,
tonight.
one of the premium industries in this market.
But
They're doing incredible.
There are some
They
businesses that
don't
have
pay
come out.
taxes. Did
They
you know
don't?
that? They
What?
don't. No, they don't pay taxes.
Well, a lot of them don't.
They
Google
haven't
doesn't.
made a profit. Uber hasn't made a profit if you go by the books. Can you believe that? That's crazy.
Amazon
Right?
Okay,
Amazon didn't until 2008.
Mark Cuban is a billionaire.
Yeah. but
Like he
But
is the
supposedly.
but- so-
No, I'm just
like
kidding.
Uber went on
so
Shark Tank,
so
right?
so
Uber did?
I-
Uber did.
Uber went on
So-
Shark Tank in.
so for example, right?
Really?
I think
I didn't
Right?
know that. I
No,
didn't know
so-
that.
so I-
Isn't that right?
I have no idea.
I don't
We can
know.
ask Alexa.
But I think I think
Alexa,
Alexa, did Uber go on Shark Tank?
From TheStreet.com. After years of hard work and an appearance on ABC's Shark Tank,
Yep.
the company saw revenue of $6 million in 2017.
Wow.
So revenue, 2017.
There you go.
But what I was
Shark Tank?
Really?
what I was saying before you were here.
This is a lot for me. This is a lot.
What I was saying before you were here is Evan's big issue with what I say. I always say billionaires.
One of the big
Evan's
issues.
issue is
No, it is. But it's always I don't believe billionaires should exist. Is my big argument.
Yeah, I go back to that a lot.
It is. A
He
big,
doesn't
it is a-
believe
it is a big
Any
sticking point.
billionaire
It is a big
should
sticking point.
exist.
But
Right.
my argument a lot of times with it is small businesses get taxed too much.
thank
and
you.
Billionaires don't get taxed enough.
Nope.
Because they avoid it by
Right.
going through the Cayman
They're
Islands.
good. They have the
They have good
know-abouts.
accountants. They have great accountants.
So.
But back in the day,
I will.
right now.
Don't be
Yeah,
shy.
yeah,
Don't
I
be
mean,
shy.
pretty pussy. That's better. You gotta at least go to the first line, right?
That's right.
Are you on the first line?
I
Right
don't
here.
know.
I was
First
at
line
least
shot.
at the second one.
I don't know.
No, that first line, you gotta be there. See,
I'm
you
at
short
the
of me.
first.
You got more than I got.
Evan, look
Hey,
at I knew
hey,
before the first
See that first drop right
He's
there?
short.
He's short. I'm
Holy
short.
crap.
Okay, let's see
Oh,
yours.
that's strong. That is really strong.
Well, you called me a pussy.
Give him a little. Give him a little more.
Hey, wait a
Evan?
minute, wait a minute.
So my point is,
he's not even in first line.
back in the Industrial Revolution,
They're crazy.
we're gonna go back.
But
Industrial Revolution.
But no, what I was saying
This
was
is a
not
new
argument.
bottle. There's 4 shots. There's 4 shots.
what-
Just
hey,
so the record
what-
stays.
what-
Never call us weak.
What I'm saying with that argument always is
All right, well,
I think
shit.
you
Apparently
know, if
mine's
people
weak.
could say where their
Yeah,
taxes
you're. Oh
go,
my God, yours is
Yeah.
weak.
where people could say their taxes go, a lot of people would be okay with it. You don't know where your money goes. A lot of people's taxes money goes to my salary. I don't do enough for my salary.
Right.
There was a
You're
report
so
this
critical, but then you're like so nonchalant and like, man, they pay me for this, you know?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. My tax money should not go to my job.
So there was a report this week.
I'm honest.
And if you go to any major town, any city, I don't care where it is, The three major employers are hospitals.
Hey,
to
the federal budget.
Yeah.
Hospitals, government, and university.
More money
Those
should
are
go
the
to the
three
hospitals.
major employers of any town you go into. Go to Lafayette. Go to Dayton. Go to Indianapolis. Those are the three major employers. It's government. You dropped your phone.
Yep.
Government,
Yeehaw.
hospitals, universities. And that's where all the growth and all the...
It's all at once.
Did you drink all...
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Did you?
I haven't touched it yet. I'm
Well,
talking.
are we
Right
doing-
now. Go.
Okay.
All right, I'll
On
do
three.
it with you.
1, 2, 3.
Come on, F.
Cheers.
I
Hey,
expect more
thank
out of
you
you.
for coming out.
Okay.
All right, let me get the camera.
Oh, this is not a problem.
Okay.
Well,
Cheers.
Thank
Love
you for
guys.
coming out.
Love you.
Yeah, thank you. Love you. Cheers.